50 Cent.
Be doing so much.
You know, so I usually do my home. Our culture is competitive.
But I will never.
I haven't had communication.
But I will never condone or associate with his conduct and behavior on the internet. I let him know men don't argue and beef behind a mic on the internet. Real men move in silence.
He's not no tough guy. Like, he's a rapper. So just because you did whatever you did in the streets, you never did nothing. You never was no none of that. You was a dude that was doing your little ones and twos, and you became a rapper.
For 25 long years, one question has been floating in the streets like smoke. Who really shot 50 Cent back in 2000?
I have the resilience to go against anybody. Like, there's nobody that's doing that. Those are the guys that you would choose not to go against at that point. It's in the environment, they got, and it's not him individually, because everybody's greater in their absence than they are in their presence. His aura is stronger than he is.
Every corner conversation turned into rumors, wild guesses, and 50's own version of what went down. But now, the man people been pointing at for decades, Supreme McGriff, is finally speaking from behind bars, and he's not doing it for some emotional moment or to clear his soul.
I know they had to have something to do with it, and they come to find out that the dudes who did it was working for Murder Inc.
He's talking because the timing fits his plan, and he wants to own the story before anyone else flips it. Supreme isn't stepping up because he feels bad or wants forgiveness. This is about control, power, and making sure his name gets handled how he wants it to be handled.
Different. We are masters of self-defense. If you ain't talking about positivity or growth and goals, keep your mouth shut. That goes for everybody.
Meanwhile, 50 Cent recently opened up again about the day everything almost ended for him, dropping details about May 24th, 2000, when a shooting in Jamaica, Queens left him hit 9 times and fighting to stay alive. The whole situation still feels unreal, like a scene straight out of a movie, and now the man tied to it all is finally talking loud enough for the world to hear. When 50 looks back now, he says that moment didn't just change him, it rebuilt him. That near-fatal day pushed him out of the streets and blasted him straight toward the global spotlight.
Music in '96, 2000, about to release an album. What happens?
Oh, but I was shot.
9 times?
Yeah.
And the album goes by and you're fighting for survival.
Yeah, and it became a part of, it shifted my concept.
He explained that right after the incident, music wasn't even on his mind at all. All he could think about was staying alive, not becoming famous. At that time, he wasn't only fighting to physically recover, he was fighting to stay in the game because the industry wanted nothing to do with him. Labels stepped back, business deals vanished, and doors that were once open got slammed shut in his face. So he had to carve his own lane, even with fresh wounds across his face, chest, legs, and hands. He hit the underground hard and turned G-Unit into a full movement that the streets couldn't ignore. And within just 2 years, that non-stop grind finally paid off. Eminem and Shady Records showed up ready to sign him, and in 2003, Get Rich or Die Trying dropped.
The numbers, Get Rich or Die Trying. We had a short first week, right? And it came back, it was like 830-something thousand records, and I was like, and then we didn't have the decrease that you would have. That meant they undershipped it, because there wouldn't be that 60% or that 30% decrease that would be there.
And everything shifted overnight. Suddenly, the same guy the industry tried to push out was now one of the biggest names in rap. His rise was massive, the success was real, but even with all the fame and fortune that came after, the case behind that shooting still sits officially unsolved to this day, and the list of possible suspects has always been long, messy, and full of drama. Back in the early 2000s, 50 Cent was an underground problem. The streets knew him from his mixtapes, but nobody realized he was about to blow up in a major way. At the same time, Murder Inc. was running the charts with Irv Gotti, Ja Rule, Ashanti, and the whole squad locking down the industry.
For every album, wasn't there because the following week it came in with a whole nother 800 or something. I was on a bus, I was riding, I remember I was like, this is never gonna feel like this again. I knew it, I'm by myself. And back of the bus we was riding, and I said, this is never gonna feel like this again. And I knew to really enjoy the moment.
But something about 50's energy rubbed Irv and Ja the wrong way. And the music world was still shaky from the East Coast, West Coast drama, even if things had cooled a little. Then 1999 hit and Ja Rule got robbed in Southside Jamaica. Not by 50 himself, but by someone connected to his circle. That moment changed everything. Ja was becoming Murder Inc.'s superstar, and 50 was just starting to build real buzz in New York. so the streets began whispering. That same year, 50 dropped Your Life's on the Line, taking straight-up shots at Ja Rule, and the beef went from smoke to fire real quick. It didn't take long before things got physical.
But McGriff Jr. didn't stop there. He later went off on 50 in an interview, calling him weak and saying he was never a street dude.
He's not no tough guy. Like, he's a rapper. So just because you did whatever you did in the streets, you never did nothing. You never was none of that. You was a dude that was doing your little ones and twos, and you became a rapper.
The next year, 50 and Ja crossed paths at a nightclub in Atlanta. Words flew, fists flew, and from that moment, both camps were locked in as full-on enemies. The tension doubled, then tripled, because neither side was backing down. Then came March 2000, when everything exploded at the Hit Factory studio in New York. Members of G-Unit and Murder Inc. got into a wild clash, and during that fight, 50 ended up getting stabbed. The rivalry wasn't just music at that point. It was personal, messy, and dangerous, and it set the stage for everything that came next. Murder Inc. rapper Black Child later admitted he was the one who stabbed 50, but he claimed it was straight-up self-defense because he thought someone was reaching for a piece. Irv and Ja ran with that moment and later accused 50 of filing a protective order against them, using that claim to paint him as scared for years. But when the actual court records came out, it showed 50 never filed anything. The NYPD issued that order automatically after the studio fight. Then just a few weeks after that stabbing, everything went dark again. In May 2000, 50 was sitting outside his grandmother's house in Queens when he got hit 9 times in what looked like a carefully planned attack. It was a cold move that almost took him out, and the fact he survived still shocks people today. But here's the strange part. Even though 50 lived to explain what happened, the details around that shooting have always felt cloudy and full of unanswered questions. His own version of the story became legendary in the streets. He said he got ambushed in broad daylight, took 9 shots, and still managed to walk away with a new kind of strength. That moment shaped his whole image, surviving anything, pushing through everything, never folding. Later on, a federal investigation connected Queens figure Kenneth Supreme McGriff to the situation, claiming he planned the attack after 50 dropped the song Ghetto Quran, where McGriff's name got mentioned directly. That track caused serious tension, and many people believed it sparked retaliation that changed hip-hop forever. McGriff had deep ties with Irv Gotti, and their connection wasn't just casual. It ran all the way through the streets and the industry. In 2003, Irv and his brother Chris Gotti were hit with federal charges, claiming they were laundering McGriff's dirty money through Murder Inc., a case that sent shockwaves everywhere. The headlines were wild, and the whole music world watched closely. Both brothers ended up getting acquitted in 2005, but McGriff didn't get that same outcome. In 2007, he was hit with a separate case and got sentenced to life in prison with no chance of parole for a double hire, trafficking, and racketeering. It was a heavy fall, and it locked him away for good. But even with all the street stories floating around, neither McGriff nor anyone connected to Murder Inc. ever faced charges relating to the shooting of 50 Cent. 50 always said the attack was a calculated hit, but McGriff never said a word. He stayed quiet for decades. Was it loyalty? Was it strategy? Or was he just playing the game the way the streets taught him? No one knew. But now, almost 25 years later, McGriff suddenly decides to break his silence. And he isn't speaking to confess or clear the air. He's talking to tell his son, Kenneth McGriff Jr., to stay quiet. This came right after Kenneth Jr. publicly called out 50 Cent, accusing him of building his whole success off his father's legacy and saying the McGriff family should be getting royalties for it. But during an appearance on Ebro in the Morning, 50 brushed that idea off instantly and said nobody outside the 5 boroughs even knows who Supreme McGriff is. That comment stirred things up fast, and it's what pushed McGriff to finally step in and say something. But that comment had McGriff Jr. heated, and he clapped back on Instagram with a long message that shook the room. He said, "How can you say Preem is not the reason for your success? Your storyline in the industry was guy gets shot 9 times, he lives. That's like a movie script. So of course people are going to buy into your story. You were the underdog, but you were scared of them. You were scared of Jimmy. You were scared of my pops. You were scared of Lil' Kim's baby father. You were talking nobody knows Preem outside of the 5 boroughs. But when I go to different states, I get the red carpet. Preem and Jimmy Henchman are a major part of your story, bro. They helped catapult you to the next thing because your songs is trash. And that issue did with Jam Master Jay, that was boo-boo. You really mad because Preem wouldn't F with you? McGriff Jr. didn't stop there. He added even more heat in the caption, saying, I can't even tag this clown because he blocked. But if Eminem and Dre didn't sign you, absolutely nobody would care about anything you did. The name of your album is called Get Rich or Die Trying. His whole message came off bold, raw, and personal, like he was determined to defend his father's name at all costs. The way he delivered those shots made it clear he felt 50 was downplaying the impact of the people connected to that old era, and he wasn't letting it slide. The back-and-forth energy was intense, and it showed just how deep these old storylines still run today. McGriff Jr. kept the pressure going, saying, I never met somebody who bragged about getting hit. You need to thank Preem, Murder Inc., and Jimmy Henchman for making your storyline. You owe us 30% of all royalties. You donkey. Ebro didn't even ask him anything about Preemy. That man lived rent-free. His energy was wild, and he clearly wasn't holding anything back. But he didn't stop there. He later went off again in an interview, calling 50 weak and saying he was never a real street figure. Then earlier this year, after Irv Gotti passed away, McGriff Jr. jumped back into the spotlight and blasted 50 for mocking Irv's death, adding even more tension to a situation that was already messy. That's when the OG himself, Kenneth McGriff, stepped in from behind bars and told his son to chill out, cut the online back and forth, and keep his mouth shut. After decades of silence, this was the first time the world heard McGriff speak on anything connected to 50. And it wasn't the shocking reveal people had waited years to hear. He didn't confess to anything, he didn't deny anything, and he didn't break down what really happened. Instead, his message showed this was all about power, legacy, and controlling a story that's always been bigger than the streets and bigger than the truth itself. No matter who actually pulled that trigger, the aftermath is what changed everything. 50 getting shot became one of the most unforgettable survival stories in music, a moment that reshaped his entire image and pushed him to build something massive. That life-changing hit ended up giving him the drive to create Get Rich or Die Trying, the album that turned him into a superstar. But here's the twist. Even with all the noise, all the interviews, all the back-and-forth posts, one thing stays the same. Nobody from that era is giving up the full truth. Every person tied to the story moves like they're protecting something bigger than themselves, and that's what keeps this whole situation alive decades later. The streets keep guessing, the fans keep debating, and the legends only grow louder. 50 built an empire off surviving that moment, turning pain into power, and he never backed down from telling his version with confidence. But the people on the other side, the ones his story brushed up against, still feel like their names got dragged into history without their say. That tension is why these old wounds keep opening up again and again. And now, with McGriff finally speaking after all these years, the energy around the story has shifted. He didn't clear anything up. Instead, he showed that the fight is now about who gets to shape the legacy, not who did what on that one day in Queens. That silence he kept for 25 years wasn't fear. It was strategy. Meanwhile, 50 keeps moving like nothing can shake him, still talking his talk on social media, still clowning anyone who takes a shot at him. And because of that, every time someone brings up the past, it sparks a whole new wave of drama, new interviews, new reactions, new tensions spreading across the internet. This story isn't ending anytime soon. It's turning into a battle over reputation, history, and who gets remembered as the real shot caller in one of the most legendary chapters of hip-hop. What makes all of this even wilder is how the new generation is jumping into the drama without even living through the original chaos. Younger fans only know the headlines, the documentaries, and the music. But the people who were actually around back then remember how heavy the streets felt. Back in 2000, things weren't just arguments online. People were really getting hurt, careers were crashing, and whole neighborhoods were choosing sides. But today, the internet has turned those old street stories into entertainment, and every time something pops up, everyone rushes to pick a team like it's a game. That's part of why the storyline keeps growing. Every new comment gets dragged across social media. Every interview clip gets turned into a meme, and every old rumor turns into a trending conversation overnight. And through all that noise, 50 still plays his role perfectly. He laughs at the drama, throws a slick comment here and there, then moves on like it's nothing. That attitude keeps the spotlight on him, and honestly, it keeps people hooked because they never know when he's going to drop another jab that starts a whole new wave of reactions. Meanwhile, McGriff Jr. is talking like he's carrying the weight of his family's history, trying to protect a legacy he feels has been twisted and flipped for entertainment. And that's the core of this entire chapter. One side feels they built their success through survival. The other side feels their name was turned into someone else's storyline. What's clear now is that the fight isn't really about the past anymore. It's about who gets the final word in a story that refuses to die. Get Rich or Die Trying became one of the most iconic rap albums ever, and it all came from a moment where 50 was supposed to fall, but somehow got back up stronger than ever. He moved like he had 9 lives, and the whole world watched him flip a near-death hit into a money-making empire that shook the entire music industry. Now, the real question is this. What's your take on Supreme McGriff's alleged link to the shooting? Do you think it was strictly a retaliation move over Ghetto Quran, or do you feel there's a deeper story still hiding in the shadows? People have debated this for decades, and every angle feels like it could lead somewhere wild. Drop your thoughts below, because this saga stays mysterious, and you won't want to miss the next story that's coming up.
I haven't had communication with Banks for a long period of time, right?
He couldn't even tell you, like, at any point when you speak to him what a problem is. I put him like where I put Marquise.
You and Banks are not hanging out at the strip club.
Lloyd Banks is finally breaking his silence, and he's not holding back. For years, 50 Cent's been throwing shade, twisting the truth, and acting like Banks just faded into the background.
That takes some responsibility for Lloyd Banks and Tony Ayo.
What responsibility? Like a parent?
You're the leader.
What responsibility am I taking from? Like, tell me, explain to me.
That you didn't encourage them to be independent
Nah,
sooner.
that's not true.
But now, Banks is stepping up and calling it exactly how it went down. Let's rewind real quick. G-Unit was a straight-up powerhouse in the rap game. 50 Cent was the face, yeah, but Banks, he brought the fire. His bars, that gritty voice, the raw lyricism, he gave the crew its real backbone. They weren't just label mates, they were supposed to be like brothers. But once the money started flowing and the spotlight got hot, things turned ugly.
I has Lazy Lloyd tattooed on his arm. He literally wears his laziness on his sleeve. He's always projected an unhelpful mixture of being both introverted and cocky at the same time.
50 flipped the script, throwing Banks under the bus in interviews, calling him lazy and acting like he didn't want success bad enough. And it didn't stop there. In his book, 50 even clowned Banks, talking like he just gave up on life. But back then, Banks didn't say a word. No tweets, no IG rants, no messy drama. He kept it all to himself. Until now. In a new interview, Banks finally let it all out, and he's making it clear he's done letting 50 rewrite their story. He says 50 was MIA when life got tough, and that whole lazy label, straight up disrespectful. Banks says he was grinding all along, just not on 50's terms. And of course, 50 being 50, he didn't take that lightly. You already know more drama's about to unfold. Subscribe to JuicyReel for all the wild updates and raw truth behind the headlines. This is just the beginning. 50 Cent clapped back quick and of course threw some fresh shade at Lloyd Banks. But what really went down between them? How did the G-Unit brotherhood turn into straight up tension? And who's being real? 50 or Lloyd? Let's dig in.
If that's so, Banks' temperament was definitely a little crazy. I'm not saying anything here that I haven't said to Banks directly. Another time I sat down with him, just when IG was starting to pop off, and tried to drop this gem on him. You gotta get on Instagram, I encouraged him. You can be a little awkward in person, so this is actually a better way for you to communicate with people. Nah, I don't want to do what he said. Why not? You can literally put punchlines under your pictures, make some new fans. Nah, that's corny, he told me. When Banks made that comment to me, I realized he had gone as far as he can go. In fact, my exact thought was, this is someone I can't invest another minute or dollar in.
For years, Banks kept his mouth shut about the drama with 50. No messy interviews, no back and forth online. But after 50 randomly took another jab, completely unprovoked, Banks decided enough was enough. During a stop on his tour, he finally laid it all out. It started with 50 dropping Lloyd and Young Buck's names in a behind-the-scenes clip on Instagram, and yeah, the tone wasn't exactly friendly. He threw shade at Banks' so-called lack of success, like he's out here doing nothing. But see, this is where Lloyd and 50 are built different. Lloyd ain't about the internet games. He doesn't sneak diss in interviews or post cryptic captions. But when a rare interview came up and someone asked him about his relationship with 50, Banks didn't dodge it. He addressed everything: the rumors, the public disrespect, and that tired, lazy label 50's been pushing for over 10 years. And this time, it wasn't just some old beef being reheated. This was deeply personal. Banks said point blank, he wasn't lazy, he was grieving. Around the time 50 was clowning him, Banks had just lost his father. He was going through some heavy real-life pain, and instead of support, 50 dragged him through the mud. Not once, but again and again. In interviews and books, even memes, 50 turned his pain into a whole publicity campaign. 50 gave Lloyd Banks a little credit, said he's a decent lyricist, but followed it up by saying Banks just didn't have the natural charisma or the grind to be a real star. Brutal, right? But Banks wasn't letting that slide. He fired back saying 50 was never there when it counted, not during the hard times, not when life hit him the hardest. And that betrayal, it cut way deeper than any diss track ever could. Lloyd also shut down the whole "he fell off" narrative. Since 2021, the man's been dropping straight heat. 3 full-length albums under the course of the Inevitable series. No, they weren't on the radio 24/7, and no major label was pumping millions behind it. But if you know hip-hop, you know Banks never stopped working. His pen's been sharp the whole time. He just stopped dancing for the industry. And that's the real issue. Banks was never the artist 50 wanted him to be. He's not flashy. He's not chasing clout. He's not begging for viral moments. Banks is for the culture, for the bars, the message, the craft. But in 50's world, if you're not out here building his brand, pushing his empire, you're a problem. You're dead weight. Banks just wasn't trying to play that soldier role anymore. He stepped out of line, and in 50's book, that was enough to cut him off. Just so you get the full picture, this didn't start yesterday. Lloyd Banks, 50 Cent, and Tony Yayo all came up together from the same block, South Jamaica, Queens. They built G-Unit from the ground up. Stay tapped in and subscribe to JuicyReel, cause this saga is far from over. This wasn't some label manufactured group thrown together in a boardroom. Nah, this was real. These were kids from the same hood, grinding to escape the streets, using music as their only ticket out. And when 50 Cent exploded with Get Rich or Die Trying, he brought his people with him. G-Unit wasn't just a rap crew, it became a movement, a lifestyle, a whole brand. And when it came to bars, Lloyd Banks was that guy. While 50 had the charisma and knew how to make a hook go viral, Banks delivered that ice-cold flow and razor-sharp wordplay. Fans didn't just like him, they respected him. His mixtape game was untouchable. Money in the Bank, the Cold Corner series, all classics. Then came 2004, and Banks dropped The Hunger for More. That album went platinum in under a month. On Fire was blazing the airwaves. Karma was a fan favorite, and I'm So Fly, straight heat. At that point, it looked like G-Unit was unstoppable. 50 was topping the charts. Banks was proving he was more than just hype. Yayo was making noise, and later Young Buck and The Game added even more fire. They were everywhere, from music to clothing lines, Reebok collabs, even their own video games. But don't get it twisted. Banks wasn't just there for the ride. His voice, his tone, his whole presence helped shape that G-Unit sound. Even 50 used to admit that Banks was one of the purest lyricists in the crew. But then, the cracks started showing. Fame messes with everything. Buck got kicked out, Game turned rogue. The tight bond started slipping. G-Unit, the empire, it started losing steam. Subscribe to JuicyReel for the inside scoop on how it all came crashing down, cause trust, it gets even wilder. As everything around G-Unit started crumbling, Banks slowly began fading into the background. Now we all knew he was never the loudmouth of the crew, but this time he was practically invisible. The split between him and 50 wasn't loud. No crazy headlines or public fights. But the distance, it was obvious. You could feel the cold shift. After the early G-Unit wave crashed, the vibe wasn't the same anymore. What used to feel like a tight, unstoppable brotherhood now looked like solo artists awkwardly repping the same brand. And according to 50 himself, things behind the scenes got so messy, he swears G-Unit will never reunite again. So what really happened? Banks started falling back. No more press runs, no appearances at 50's events, and barely any public moves. To the fans, it looked like he didn't care, like he gave up. But the truth behind the scenes was way more layered than that. While Banks was going silent, 50 kept doing interviews and still throwing shade. He doubled down on that lazy narrative, acting like he did everything he could to help Banks win, but Banks just didn't have that hunger. 50 said Banks refused to evolve, didn't care to learn the business side, and wasn't moving like someone who really wanted it. In one interview, 50 even said straight up, Banks had the talent, but no hustle. Cold words from someone who once called him a brother. Don't miss what happens next. Subscribe to JuicyReel so you don't miss the real story behind this G-Unit fallout. 50 even came for Banks over not being on social media. Seriously, he slammed him for staying offline like it was some kind of career sin. But Banks, he's just built different. He's always been quiet, low-key, focused on his craft behind the scenes. He never played the industry politics game. He wasn't chasing likes or followers, and that's exactly why a lot of fans respected him. To them, Banks staying true to himself made him real, but to 50, that made him a problem, a liability, someone who couldn't move the brand forward. Then came 50's book, Hustle Harder, Hustle Smarter, and this is where things got ugly. 50 didn't just hint anymore. He called out Banks by name. He said both Banks and Yayo were stuck in the past, refusing to evolve. He painted Banks as someone who got too comfortable, too lazy, and just let his shot slip away. Basically, 50 made it sound like Banks was a wasted talent, someone who could have been a legend but blew it. That book marked the first time 50 really put that kind of distance between them out in public. Banks didn't clap back in interviews, but fans think he did respond in the music. His track Stranger Things had some serious energy, and many believe it was his way of speaking his truth without saying names, and this is where the core disagreement lies. 50 thinks success is fame, power, and expansion, but for Banks, it's peace. Doing what you love, taking care of your people without losing yourself in the process. That's success to him. And don't forget, Banks owns the Lazy label now. He even got a tattoo that says Lazy Lloyd. He flipped the insult into a badge on his terms. Even in interviews, 50's been real blunt. He's called Lloyd Banks lazy right to the public. And you know what? Banks doesn't even deny being chill. He owns it. He admits he's a laid-back dude. But here's the thing, it ain't just about being lazy. Banks isn't trying to be part of all the extra that comes with fame, the drama, the fake circles, the spotlight chasing. He wants no part of it. He's about making music and letting that speak for itself. But 50, he saw that as a lack of ambition, a waste of talent. But there's a deeper issue that's been driving all this. For 50, loyalty is the #1 rule. Break that and you're done. No second chances. He said it loud and clear. He'd rather be held at gunpoint than be betrayed by someone close. That's how serious it is to him, and his ex even explained it. 50 sees himself as the kind of guy who gives everything to his people. He'll go to war for you, ride for you, even risk his life. But the moment he feels like someone turned their back on him, it's a wrap, no matter how close they were. So when 50 looked at Banks pulling away, not showing up, not falling in line, he didn't see a chill dude doing his own thing. He saw betrayal. And it doesn't stop there. 50 even cut off his own son, Marquise, because he felt like he wasn't loyal enough. That's how deep this goes. If he could walk away from family, what makes you think he wouldn't do the same to Banks? And the tension didn't just disappear, it kept growing quietly. Every year that passed without a G-Unit reunion, fans felt the gap widening. No photos, no surprise collabs, no nods to the old days. It was like Banks got wiped from 50's circle completely. And while 50 moved on to movies, business, and global fame, Banks stuck to what he knew best: rap. No distractions, just bars. But here's what really stung for fans who grew up on G-Unit. The brotherhood was gone. There was no closure, no sit down, no let's squash it moment. Just interviews where 50 threw slick jabs and Banks dropping layered tracks that felt like coded responses. They weren't beefing in public, but they weren't brothers anymore either. And fans couldn't help but notice how 50 would praise strangers before showing love to his day ones. Even when Banks dropped solid albums like The Course of the Inevitable, 50 stayed silent. No reposts, no props, nothing. That silence was louder than any diss track. Some say it's ego, others say it's hurt. But one thing's for sure: when loyalty gets questioned in 50's world, there's no coming back. And Banks, he's clearly fine with that. He's made peace with the distance, focused on his own path, and built a loyal underground fan base that rides with him regardless of 50's cosign. So while the G-Unit dream is over, the story still hits hard because it wasn't just about music, it was about trust. And once that broke, there was no fixing it. Stick with JuicyReel for the realest breakdowns in hip-hop history, because this saga's still leaving scars. Even now, the G-Unit legacy stays legendary, but it's wrapped in tension and unanswered questions. Fans still argue online. Did Banks waste his potential? Was 50 too controlling? The debate never dies. And honestly, both sides have receipts. 50 Cent built a music empire off grind, strategy, and dominance. He saw rap as a business, and he expected his crew to move like soldiers, hustle, expand, evolve, or get left behind. That's how he moved, and he expected the same from Banks. But Banks, he wasn't built for that corporate hustle. He's an artist to the core. He didn't want to be a mogul, he just wanted to rap. And in his eyes, success isn't about charts or chasing millions. It's about staying true, feeding your family, and surviving the storm without selling your soul. Two different mindsets clashing behind the scenes. And when you really think about it, it's sad how it all played out. G-Unit gave us classic mixtapes, historic run-ins, platinum hits. They ran the 2000s, but instead of celebrating that legacy together, it ended in cold silence, passive-aggressive quotes, and split paths. Still, one thing's clear: Banks didn't disappear. He chose to walk away from the noise. And whether you see that as strength or missed opportunity, one thing's for sure: he stayed real the whole way through. The music, the pain, the loyalty, the fallout, it's all part of hip-hop history now. And fans are still trying to make sense of it all. So if 50's willing to cut off his own son over what he calls disloyalty, then let's be real, his friends never stood a chance. Just look at Tony Yayo, another OG G-Unit rider. Yayo was 50's right-hand man from day one, solid through the trenches. But even he wasn't safe. The moment rumors of disloyalty started floating around, real or not, 50 didn't blink. He called Yayo out publicly, like loyalty had an expiration date. And then there's young Buck. Buck played a huge role in G-Unit's early takeover. His energy, that southern edge, the music, it all helped elevate the brand. But as soon as 50 felt any betrayal, boom, Buck got kicked out in front of the world. No warning, no clean break, just drama, headlines, and a very loud exit. And of course, we can't forget the game. Back when he was G-Unit's hottest signee, he had the momentum of a superstar. But 50? The minute things went sideways, he cut ties fast, and the fallout between them? Straight up legendary. But maybe the final straw for 50 wasn't even about words, it was one photo. That now infamous reunion pic of Lloyd Banks in the game sent shockwaves. And for 50, that was it. In a since-deleted post, he wrote, "What do you see when you look at this picture? I see confusion. I'm not sure if it's just me. I'm a Cancer-ish. Don't get old with me. I never ask for trouble, but I really don't have a problem with it. I'm different. The question isn't how I feel about it, but how does Loey Mac feel about it? Some ish is just better off left alone." That post said it all. For 50, loyalty is black and white. No gray area, no coming back. For more exclusive breakdowns, behind-the-scenes drama, and legendary hip-hop moments, subscribe to JuicyReel, where the real stories never stay buried.
Like, you know, and you see things like the white party be there, and then they have a little baby like in a sandwich. They're hugging him from the front and the back.
Ever since that Wild Reuben party, 50 Cent's been screaming, "That ain't my boy no more, they got him." He's talking about Lil Baby, who just went viral for flexing his new thigh tattoos while rocking a tight tank top and a pink belt. Yeah?
Baby is absolutely one of the best human beings in the planet. Right, we're at a party, everyone's drunk. You know, it's a 13-hour party. People drink a lot of alcohol.
That's the look that got the whole internet roasting him like it's open mic night. People ain't holding back. They're saying if your chest and arms are clean, but your thighs are tatted up first, something ain't adding up. It's not just about ink, it's about who you become.
But it's 100 people at the party. We in the middle of 100 people. There's nothing weird we could be doing in a party. Right.
But 50's not just laughing. He's got a serious theory. He says Lil Baby started acting different right after that exclusive Michael Rubin white party in the Hamptons. The one where Baby got hugged from behind. Yeah, that viral clip. According to 50, it's not just fashion or tattoos. He's calling it a humiliation ritual. Part of a secret game in the industry that artists gotta go through to keep the spotlight and hold their spot at the top. Real talk. What really went down at that white party? Who is Michael Rubin, and why does he keep surrounding himself with all these young rap stars? Want to keep up with all this madness? Hit that subscribe on JuicyReel for the realest breakdowns. Let's get into why Lil Baby's name is back in the spotlight, and not in a good way. He just dropped some fresh ink, and normally that's whatever, but this got people losing it. Why? Because he skipped his chest, arms, back, and went straight for the thighs with his very first tattoos. And here's the kicker. Baby's been on record multiple times saying he'd never get tatted. In interview after interview, he made it clear, no ink for him. But now, it's 2025 and Lil Baby went and got 90s Baby blasted across both thighs. That's a full 180. He even posted some brand new flicks on Instagram, captioned "back in that mode," wearing shorts and flexing his new tats like a runway model. You could clearly see 90s on one thigh and Baby on the other. And it didn't stop there. Fans noticed another piece, a huge CBFW tattoo stretching down the side of his lower left leg.
I hear that you say that you don't have any tattoos at all?
Nope. That was really my only reason, like, from being younger, like, I don't want no tattoos. I know I'm gonna have something to do when I get older. Yes, sir. With my money, and I don't want to be like a thug.
That one popped up in a July 4th post and had folks doing double takes all over again. But then came the viral moment. Lil Baby hit the stage rocking those same tiny shorts, a tight tank top, and that now infamous pink belt. And guess what? Throughout the performance, he kept yanking those shorts up, making sure the whole world saw those fresh thigh tats. Fans ain't holding back either. Comments like "humiliation ritual" and "the industry got a hold on my boy" flooded social media. One even begged him, "Lay out them shorts, please." What is really going on with Baby? Stick around, like this rabbit hole goes way deeper. And now if you scroll through the comments under that video, folks are losing it because they're saying 50 Cent was right all along. Ever since that flashy all-white party at Mike Rubin's mansion, Lil Baby just hasn't been the same. One comment said, "Michael Rubin already showed y'all that Lil Baby was his boy. Why y'all acting surprised?" Another person chimed in with, "Bunny hops and hugs from the back from a rich little white dude?" Nah, this generation lost. It's got everyone asking, what really went down at that party? And why did 50 Cent feel the need to call out Lil Baby for being around Rubin in the first place? Let's rewind to 2023. Michael Rubin threw his famous white party in the Hamptons. It was invite-only, top-level VIP vibes. The guest list, straight-up A-list madness. Jay-Z, Beyonce, Tom Brady, Kim Kardashian, and yup, Lil Baby. And that's when things got weird. A now viral photo surfaced showing Lil Baby in what people called a hug sandwich between Michael Rubin and Kyle Kuzma. It hit the internet fast, and 50 Cent did not hold back. He reposted the pic with a wild caption, "See, this is why I don't go to no party Puffy and them at. What the F is going on here?" Then he added, "Get the F off my young man."
Everything, I never lost myself.
So we just gonna let this nigga do this. We finna let Lil Baby come out here in his booty coochie shorts and just pop out with his hand in his mouth. slick, and just, yeah, that's just what we doing.
But it didn't stop there. Another photo leaked from the party showing Michael Rubin hugging Lil Baby from behind like they've been tight for years. And not long after, Lil Baby himself posted a video of him chilling on a private jet with Rubin like everything was all good. So what's the real story here? Is this just industry networking, or is something deeper going on behind the scenes? Smash that JuicyReel subscribe button, because the rabbit hole just keeps getting messier. People started clowning those party pics hard, and that's when 50 Cent doubled down, saying this is exactly why you'll never catch him at one of those parties. No surprise there, 50's been side-eyeing industry circles for years. At first, some fans thought 50 was just cracking jokes, trolling like usual, but others, they weren't laughing. A lot of people have been whispering for a long time that these Hollywood-style parties give off major secret initiation vibes, like some kind of quiet test that new rappers gotta pass if they want to climb the ladder and stay in the game. Man, looks like all the backlash really got to Lil Baby. He finally snapped back, warning folks not to mess with his name. During his sit-down on Lil Yachty's podcast, Baby opened up about how those viral memes and comments had him heated. He said it bothered him so much that he actually hit up Mike Rubin personally and asked for the security camera footage from the party, just to prove to the public that nothing sketchy went down. But even after getting the footage, Baby decided not to post it. Still, there's no bad blood between him and Rubin. In fact, Lil Baby called Rubin a positive influence in his life. But when Yachty asked how, Baby couldn't really put it into words. He just said Rubin's been a good dude and left it at that. Now that's got people talking even more. What kind of influence can't be explained? What's really behind all this loyalty? Stick around and subscribe to JuicyReel, cause this story's far from over. Now let's talk about Michael Rubin, cause he finally broke his silence last year and spoke on those viral pics with Lil Baby. In an interview, he brushed the whole thing off as ridiculous, saying nothing strange happened. Just a bunch of people having too much to drink, that's it, allegedly. But here's the weird part. The way Rubin went on and on about Baby in that interview, it really sounded like he was low-key crushing on him, like it was giving way more than just industry respect. People still ain't buying the innocent act. They're pointing out how Rubin, who's not even in the music business, keeps getting real close to young rappers. And it's not just Lil Baby. Remember that video of Meek Mill hopping around like a bunny on a tennis court? Yeah, that one. Meek later claimed it was all jokes, said he lost a bet to Rubin during a match. But let's keep it real for a second. A white billionaire making a black rapper hop like a bunny while giving him commands? Come on, that ain't sitting right with a lot of folks. The optics, way off. So, what's the real deal with Rubin? Why is he so locked in with these rap stars? According to his Wikipedia page, Michael Rubin was born in 1972 in Philly and raised in a Jewish family out in Lafayette Hill.
Mike. Man, Mike.
I'm gonna come hug you right now. I'm coming to hug you. Big hug. Get everyone to love each other.
He was already hustling by 14, using his bar mitzvah money and his dad's credit to open up a ski shop. By his late teens, he had a whole sports gear empire in motion. But still, why is this guy suddenly the center of rap's biggest viral moments? So here's how Michael Rubin really made his fortune. He enrolled at Villanova but dipped out after just one semester. Why? Because he hit a lick, flipping a $200,000 overstock gear deal funded by a friend into straight profit. From there, he sold off his ski shops and launched KPR Sports, which racked up a wild $50 million in sales by 1995. But he didn't stop there. Rubin went on to found the company that would later become GSI Commerce, turning it into a full-blown multi-billion-dollar e-commerce empire. Now, he's the boss at Fanatics Incorporated, the massive sportswear brand that makes official gear for the NBA, NFL, MLB, NASCAR, Formula One, and even the WWE. And according to Forbes, as of mid-2025, Rubin's sitting on a personal net worth of $10.6 billion. So yeah, on paper, it looks like he's just a genius businessman who came up from the middle class and made all the right moves. But here's where things start to feel off. A lot of people are pointing out that Rubin's success seems less about hustle and more about connections. Like who he knows has always outweighed what he's actually done. And the weirdest part, The man's got zero charisma. Watch his interviews. He talks like a finance bro reading a PowerPoint. And the eyes? People keep saying they look straight up soulless, like there's nothing going on behind them. It's creepy, real creepy. So why are all these rappers and athletes so thirsty to be in his orbit? Why is he suddenly the cool billionaire everyone wants to flex with? Now here's where it gets even crazier. Let's talk about what really goes down at Ruben's infamous all-white party. Smash that JuicyReel subscribe, cause it's about to get spicy. Let's break down the real mystery behind Michael Ruben's all-white party. Cause this ain't just some fancy backyard cookout with champagne and celebrities. Nah, people are saying it's turning into the industry's weirdest ritual playground. This annual Hamptons event pulls in the biggest names, from rap icons to billionaires to Hollywood elites. And somehow Ruben, a sports merch CEO with zero ties to music, is right at the center of it all. Cameras are everywhere, but only the safest, most polished clips make it online. What really goes down behind the scenes? Nobody's talking. People are starting to notice a pattern. Every time a young rapper pops up at this party, their image suddenly shifts. Next thing you know, they're wearing tighter clothes, acting different, or getting dragged online for some out-of-character moment. But then, boom, they land massive deals, go viral, or slide into new circles they were never in before. And here's the shady part. Now, it ain't just about the guest list. There's whispers about what's not being shown.
Meek Mill bunny hopping for Ruben on a tennis court.
Go, count out loud. Count out loud. Keep going. Keep going. 1, 2. Keep going. Keep going. Don't cheat everybody hops. They suck. Your buddy hops suck.
Secret rooms, private after hours networking, and strange behavior that nobody dares to call out directly. Even some insiders have hinted that showing up to the party is a test. Like if you pass, you level up. If you don't, you're out. Just like that. So what kind of game is being played here? Is this really just a billionaire throwing a bougie summer party? Or is Ruben handpicking who gets to win next in the fame lottery? Now here's where things start looking real calculated. See, Michael Ruben's all-white party ain't just a status symbol. It's turning into a launch pad for who's about to blow up next. And it's not just about being seen, it's about who you're seen with. Photos from the party always show the same thing: up-and-coming rappers sandwiched between billionaires, pro athletes, and A-list stars. But if you look closer, it's not random. These shots are crafted, posed in ways that scream, "Look who I'm rolling with now." And just weeks after these pics hit the net, boom, endorsements, collabs, massive media coverage. Coincidence? Not likely. Take Lil Baby. Right after the Ruben party drama, he's suddenly the center of attention again, trending for new tattoos, fashion switches, even viral concert moments. Good or bad, he's back in the headlines, and the industry loves that. And don't forget Meek Mill, who got clowned for hopping like a bunny at Ruben's request. Embarrassing? Maybe. But shortly after, he was locked in with major players. Jet setting, signing deals, popping up with powerful names. So is the party a genuine hangout, or is it a carefully engineered moment to push chosen artists into the spotlight? And if so, who's deciding who makes the cut, and what's the price of admission? And there's levels to this game, and Ruben might just be the gatekeeper. Here's where it really starts to get spooky. Behind all the glitz and stage smiles at Michael Ruben's white party, people are whispering about something deeper. A modern-day gatekeeping ritual that nobody wants to admit exists. Industry vets have been hinting for years that there's a pay-to-play system. And we're not talking money. We're talking about humiliation, submission, and silence. And guess what? It always seems to involve the same type of stars. Young black male rappers on the verge of blowing up or trying to stay hot. You ever wonder why you never see Ruben hosting these kinds of cozy friendship moments with country singers or indie pop stars? Nah, it's always rappers, and not just any rappers, the ones who've got the streets behind them, who represent power and influence. So why are they the ones always caught in these bizarre, borderline embarrassing clips with Ruben? Is it just bad timing or part of a bigger play? And here's the creepiest part. Nobody in the industry calls it out directly. Not their managers, not their crews, not even the artists themselves. Because once you step into that circle, you're in. And speaking out, that might just cost you everything. They call it networking. But when the deals are done behind velvet ropes and cameras conveniently turn off, That ain't networking, that's initiation. What's the real cost of fame in this game, and how far are some of these stars willing to go to stay relevant? So here's the crazy twist. This whole all-white party trend didn't start with Michael Rubin. It was actually made famous by Diddy back in the late 90s. Diddy's legendary white parties in the Hamptons were once the most exclusive events in the game. And the same big names who used to show up for him, now they're pulling up to Rubin's. Take Leonardo DiCaprio, for example. There's a pic of him in 1997 at Diddy's white party. And then boom, there he is again. All smiles at Rubin's party last year. Same goes for Jay-Z. In 2003, he was kicking it with the late Andre Harrell at Diddy's Bash. Fast forward to now, he's showing up with Beyonce at Rubin's spot, front and center. So what's going on here? Some folks are saying Rubin took the torch from Diddy, but not just the party invite list. The whispers say he might be running some kind of blackmail setup behind the scenes, using these parties as traps. There's also a growing theory that Rubin and other powerful billionaires have a thing for putting young black rappers in humiliating situations, not by force, but through manipulation. Some of these artists allegedly go along with it to beat a legal case or get that extra career boost, like #1 records or major award show love. And then it gets even darker. Fans are connecting it all to what Cat Williams once revealed. On Joe Rogan's podcast, Cat said these parties go way beyond what you see, mentioning rituals, secrecy, and some messed up industry stuff that never sees the light of day. So what's real and what's smoke? Stick around and subscribe to JuicyReel, cause we're not done exposing this madness yet.
Dame Dash is now accusing DJ Envy of being a government informant, and he even posted a paperwork that he says proves DJ Envy is an informant.
But it did break down that you are on that RICO, and that, in fact, if you don't or do certain things, it's going to mean that you are, in fact, a...
Now, not DJ Envy being accused of being a federal informant.
And you went in because of DJ Envy.
Yeah, I did. I mean, you know, I'd known Envy for years.
Yeah, you heard that right. Dame Dash just dropped a bombshell, claiming that Envy somehow managed to dodge prison time in that shady real estate mess.
Not to say that even Caesar was doing anything right or wrong, because I honestly don't know. That's between them and whatever happened. But did I say, here, take this money and give it to this person, or do this with this money?
And according to Dame, the only way that could have happened is if Envy was talking to the feds. Wild, right?
My attorneys don't want me to speak, but I think there's things that I need to clear up a little bit.
I think you should listen to your attorneys. Why don't light-skinned people like to listen? Hey, if your attorney told you don't say nothing, why are you talking?
Listen, so Caesar and myself did seminars. Now, the reason I did these seminars is because I wanted to uplift my community.
But it gets even messier, because 50 Cent, of all people, is out here backing Dame Dash's claims. That's crazy, considering 50 and Dame have been beefing nonstop ever since Dame started throwing shade at Cameron. The fact that 50's even siding with him now means something serious might be cooking behind the scenes. So the real question is, did DJ Envy snitch to the feds to save himself? And if that's true, what does that say about the Breakfast Club and everyone sitting at that table? The thought alone is insane. For those who missed how this whole thing exploded, it started during Dame Dash's recent appearance on The Breakfast Club. Things went from calm to chaotic in seconds. Dame clashed with both Envy and Charlemagne. Tensions flared, and he nearly stormed out of the studio. The energy was off the charts. So picture this. They're in the studio, cameras rolling, and things take a turn fast after Charlemagne and Envy start poking at Dame Dash about his money problems. And let's be real, everyone knows Damon gets super defensive whenever somebody brings up his finances. The man's been through lawsuits, bankruptcies, and more headlines than a reality star. So when Charlemagne asked him straight up about the rumors that he's broke after filing for bankruptcy, Dame completely lost it. He started going off on Charlemagne, even calling him gay in a low blow that had the whole room frozen. Then he tried flexing by comparing the size of his mansion to Charlemagne's. Like, who even does that on live radio? The whole thing felt like one big ego meltdown. And get this, Dame didn't stop there. He straight up challenged both Envy and Charlamagne to post their house views online to prove they were living better than him. You could practically hear the producers gasping in the background. But the craziest part? Envy actually did it. He went and posted his house view like he had something to prove. It was wild. Fans were clowning both of them, saying the whole argument looked like rich men fighting over whose grass is greener. Honestly, this was embarrassing for everybody involved. You've got millionaires acting like jealous teenagers on Instagram all over who's got the nicer view. And for Dame, a man who's been in the game for decades, it's shocking how insecure he still seems about his wealth. But wait, things got way messier right after that moment, because that same Breakfast Club episode took a darker turn nobody saw coming. So here's where the whole situation went from spicy to downright explosive. Out of nowhere, Dame Dash drops a bomb live on air, claiming that DJ Envy is actually being investigated under RICO for that messy real estate scandal involving his old business partner, Cesar Pina. Yeah, that same Cesar who's been catching fraud accusations left and right. Dame basically said Envy isn't just caught up, he's being watched by the feds. Envy, of course, tried to shut it down immediately. He got defensive, denying every word, and even claimed he had paperwork right there with him to prove he was clean. But before he could even show it, Charlamagne jumped in and stopped him from flashing it on camera. That's when people started asking, why stop him if it's real proof? Something's not adding up here. And hold up, why would Envy just happen to be walking around with RICO paperwork on him the very moment Dime called him a snitch? That's not just weird, that's straight up suspicious. Fans online started connecting dots, saying the timing was way too perfect. Now Dame's not backing down, he's doubling down hard. He's out here saying he's got his own receipts proving that Envy's been working with the feds the whole time. He even went on Instagram, tagged iHeartRadio and Power 105 and called them out publicly like, do y'all even realize your own host is a federal informant? The man's basically daring the entire network to respond. At this point, the internet's in full meltdown, so then people are asking one question louder than ever. If Dame's telling the truth, what does that mean for DJ Envy's career? And for the Breakfast Club itself? Alright, so let's really break down what went down between DJ Envy and Cesar Pina, because this story is straight out of a Netflix crime series. Did Envy really snitch on his own partner, or is he just caught in the crossfire of a massive federal case? Let's get into it. Cesar Pina, better known online as Flipping NJ, got hit hard in July 2025 with a full-blown federal indictment. The charges: wire fraud, money laundering, and bribery. All the heavy hitters. The feds say he masterminded a multi-million-dollar real estate scam that tricked investors out of millions, even going as far as bribing a New Jersey official to help make it all happen. This wasn't no small hustle. This was corporate-level scheming. According to prosecutors, Cesar was out here recruiting dozens of investors, collecting stacks of cash to buy up properties across the state. But instead of flipping houses and sharing profits like he promised, he was allegedly running a straight-up Ponzi scheme. Money in, money out, no returns, just lies. Now here's where DJ Envy enters the picture. The indictment specifically mentions that Cesar teamed up with Envy, a huge name in hip-hop radio, to host flashy real estate seminars across the country. These events sold the dream. Financial freedom, property ownership, passive income, you name it, they preached it. But behind that glossy pitch, the feds claimed things weren't as clean as they looked. Through slick marketing and Envy's star power, Pina built a massive social media following, convincing regular people to trust him with their life savings. But here's the twist. While Cesar's been charged, Envy hasn't. He's still shouting from the rooftops that he had no clue about any crimes being committed. Still, dozens of furious investors have filed civil lawsuits against both men, claiming they were misled, manipulated, and left broke. Many even said the only reason they invested in the first place was because DJ Envy's name made it all seem legit. And that's where people are starting to wonder, if Envy's truly innocent, why does every trail in this scam lead right back to him? Now here's where things really start to look bad for DJ Envy's reputation as a public figure. According to NBC's investigation, this whole mess didn't just start recently. It goes way back to 2017. That's when Cesar Pina was already out here taking people's hard-earned money, promising wild returns from his so-called house-flipping empire all over New Jersey. He was telling investors they could make 20% to 45% profit in just 5 months, which sounds amazing until you realize none of it was real. NBC's reports revealed that instead of actually putting those millions into properties, Cesar was quietly redirecting a huge chunk for himself and using new investors' money to pay back old investors. Classic Ponzi playbook. He was even offering the same exact houses to multiple people at once, literally double selling properties that weren't even in his name. That's next level scamming. But it gets worse. Right before he got arrested, NBC ran a full expose showing heartbroken victims, regular folks who lost life savings chasing a dream. Some said they trusted Cesar only because DJ Envy was standing next to him, vouching like everything was legit. One investor, Anthony Barone, told NBC he never would have met Cesar if it wasn't for Envy. He said Envy was there in person, touring properties in Jersey, making the whole deal look safe and real. So Anthony went all in, first dropping $500,000 into one apartment project, and then another $300,000 right after that. That's $800,000 gone, just like that. And now, those same investors are demanding answers, because if Envy's face was part of the pitch, how could he possibly not know what was going on? The receipts are stacking, and this scandal is getting louder by the day. And even now, years later, Anthony Barone still says DJ Envy is just as responsible for the whole scam as Cesar Pina himself. That's a bold claim, but it's not the only one, because apparently Cesar wasn't just handing out fake deals. He was also paying people back in jewelry instead of actual money. Yeah, you heard that right. Chains instead of checks. One victim, Aggie Rios, who owns a luxury auto wrap shop out in Long Island, New York, told reporters that Cesar tried to pay off his investment debt with expensive jewelry pieces instead of cash. And get this, Aggie wasn't just some random investor. He had been customizing DJ Envy's cars for years. Exotic whips, luxury paint jobs, the whole thing. According to reports, it was actually Envy himself who introduced Aggie to Cesar, even vouching for Cesar's investment company like it was 100% legit. That's where things start looking real bad. After NBC blew the lid off Cesar's scam, more and more alleged victims started flooding social media with their stories. And guess what? Almost every single one of them said the same thing. They never would have trusted Cesar if DJ Envy's name hadn't been attached. Envy's celebrity status gave the operation credibility. And that's what pulled so many people in. Even some big names in the industry began to speak out. Joe Budden, who's never one to bite his tongue, revealed that Envy actually tried to rope him into this real estate game years back. Joe said he saw through it and warned Envy it looked sketchy. And then an old interview resurfaced, one that made jaws drop, where Envy himself admitted that Joe Budden once told him to his face that he'd end up in prison if he kept running around with what looked like a Ponzi scheme. Can you imagine? Joe literally predicted the mess we're watching unfold right now, and Envy just brushed it off like it was nothing. And don't forget, this whole thing wasn't happening quietly behind the scenes. DJ Envy literally brought Cesar Pina onto the Breakfast Club and let him pitch that so-called investment plan right there on air. Like he used one of the biggest radio platforms in the country to promote what's now being called a Ponzi scheme. You can still find the footage. Envy's standing side by side with Cesar, hyping him up like he's the next big mogul, talking about flipping houses and changing lives. There's even video evidence of Envy personally touring properties with potential investors, shaking hands, smiling, giving that stamp of approval like everything was squeaky clean. It wasn't just a partnership, it was full-on endorsement. So when people say he helped sell the dream, they're not exaggerating. But even with all that footage floating around, Envy keeps denying he had any part in Cesar's scam. Right after Cesar's arrest, Envy got on the Breakfast Club mic and doubled down on his defense, saying his only goal was to uplift the community, to help people learn how to build generational wealth. He swore up and down he had no clue Caesar was out here allegedly scamming people left and right. But come on, a lot of fans just aren't buying that story anymore, because how does someone as visible, as involved, and as business savvy as DJ Envy somehow know nothing about a scheme that stole millions from his own followers? It's hard to believe. Even if you give him the benefit of the doubt and assume he wasn't directly in on it, the fact that he kept promoting Cesar even after multiple people publicly warned him, that's what's really got people side-eyeing him now. It's like he either ignored the red flags or he just didn't care as long as the money kept rolling in. At this point, it's pretty clear. Whether or not DJ Envy knew about the fraud, he definitely put his name and brand behind Cesar Pina's whole operation. And when things started going left, the bare minimum would have been to warn people to stay away. But Envy never did. Not one word of caution, not even a post saying, "Be careful out there." That silence says a lot. Now, some reports suggest Envy might have been investigated by the feds, but that they simply didn't find enough evidence to indict him. That's one possible explanation. But if you ask Dame Dash, he's not buying that at all. Dame's out here saying the real reason Envy walked away untouched is because he cooperated with the feds. And here's where it gets real interesting, because apparently 50 Cent might believe the same thing. Sources close to 50 are claiming that's exactly why he pulled out of a reality TV project he was supposed to do with Envy. Yeah, Envy and 50 were planning a big collab, a flashy new show all about real estate, success, and building wealth. But after Cesar's arrest and Dame's public accusations that Envy's a snitch, 50 reportedly wanted nothing to do with it. He dropped the deal completely. That's how serious the whispers got. Now, does that prove Envy's an informant? Of course not. Even Dame hasn't produced any solid paperwork showing Envy officially cooperated as a witness against Cesar Pina. So far, it's all speculation. But let's be real, the optics look sketchy. Every time Envy tries to explain, it somehow just sounds worse. Meanwhile, the streets are divided. Some fans think Dame's reaching, but a lot of people are actually taking his side. They're saying at least Dame Dash has never stolen from his own community or used his platform to promote scams. One fan even wrote online, Dame has never stolen from his community. The Breakfast Club has caused the black community at least $50 million because of the scammers they give a mic to. That's a harsh take, but it shows how much trust Envy's lost out here. So whether or not Envy really cooperated with the feds, his reputation's been hit hard, and fans aren't quick to forgive when the streets feel betrayed by one of their own. Now here's where things hit a whole new level of chaotic drama, because the fallout from this scandal isn't just legal anymore, it's personal. DJ Envy's name has become toxic, and the streets are talking like never before. Some folks are saying he's finished, that his image as the clean-cut family man and community builder is done for. And the wild part, every time Envy opens his mouth to defend himself, he somehow digs the hole even deeper. After the accusations caught fire online, Envy's been moving differently, quieter, more cautious. But people notice everything. Fans have pointed out that Envy's co-host, Charlemagne, the God, has been tiptoeing around the topic on air, trying to keep things calm. But behind the scenes, insiders say it's tense. The Breakfast Club team is allegedly split right down the middle. Some folks think Envy deserves a chance to clear his name, while others believe he already put the whole show at risk with this mess. And then there's Cesar Pina, sitting in federal custody, reportedly cooperating himself. If that's true, it means we might soon find out exactly how deep DJ Envy was involved, or if he really did help the feds. Either way, the truth's about to come out, and nobody's ready for the storm that'll follow. Social media's been eating this up too. Threads, TikToks, and podcasts everywhere are tearing apart every clip, every quote, every moment from Envy's past interviews. Some fans say the signs were always there, like how Envy constantly bragged about empowering the people while flashing luxury cars and designer clothes. Others think he's being set up, that Dame Dash and 50 Cent are both just using the scandal for clout. Either way, Envy's caught in the middle, and it's not looking good. To make matters worse, brands that used to line up to work with him are reportedly backing away quietly. One sponsorship deal even paused negotiations after the latest round of headlines, a major red flag for anyone watching. That's how fast this type of scandal burns reputations in the industry. Now people are wondering what's next. Will Envy manage to bounce back with a tell-all interview or documentary, or is this the moment that officially ends his long run on The Breakfast Club? Whatever happens next, one thing's for sure. This isn't just another celebrity scandal. This is a full-blown fall from grace unfolding in real time. And just when you thought this couldn't get any worse, the internet detectives came in swinging. People online are dragging DJ Envy and everyone connected to him, calling out the whole circle for allegedly being part of the same money-hungry mess. One viral post said, Dr. Umar Johnson still renting rooms, cars, eating out, and jet-setting on other people's money. And another user didn't hold back either, writing, Envy is lying. He knew this was a scam from day one. Now that Peen has been convicted and is sitting in prison, he's pretending to be innocent to save face. But wait, it doesn't stop there. Fans started pointing out that DJ Envy's platform, The Breakfast Club, has featured multiple people later accused of being scammers. Folks are naming names. Jay Morrison, Brother Polite, and now Cesar Pina. All of them once welcomed on the show. All of them tied to serious fraud allegations. That's a pattern that's getting way too hard to ignore. And now everyone's asking the same burning questions. Was Dame Dash right all along? Is Envy actually an informant working with the feds? Or is he just another celeb who got caught up with the wrong people and is desperately trying to clean up the mess? The streets are split. Half saying Dame's spilling the truth, the other half claiming he's just stirring the pot to get revenge. Whatever side you're on, one thing's for sure. This scandal has completely shaken the industry. It's exposed how quick people are to trust fame, how easily inspirational talk can hide manipulation, and how nobody's untouchable once receipts start surfacing. So what do you think? Is DJ Envy playing innocent or hiding something bigger behind that mic? Drop your thoughts in the comments and make sure you subscribe to JuicyReel right now, because we got more wild celebrity exposés dropping soon, and you do not want to miss the next one.
Or guilty, criminal or citizen, that could get them any time for any crime. Say, look, if it say, sir, did you see such and such do such and such and such? Oh, wait a minute. Only time. The only time.
Show me one place in the federal guidelines where you can have 10 machines and get 1 year of community service and 1 year incarcerated.
See what I'm saying? But they talking about, they try to use that I need to order protection, but why it feels like I'm the out here then? If I needed protection, you needed protection, and your protection gone.
Welcome back to JuicyReel, where we break down the wildest feuds, the scandals the industry doesn't want you to forget, and the drama that keeps hip-hop boiling. 50 Cent has never been the type to stay quiet, and this time he lit the internet on fire by going straight at T.I. He jumped on Instagram and blasted him, calling T.I. a Hollywood mutt.
Like, you see a snitch, slap him when you see him, knock his nose off. So the next time I'm out, instead of asking for a picture like a little hoe ass, come on, knock my nose out if you think I'm a snitch. Come on, quit smiling in my face trying to get in my section. Oh, play with me, think you're talking to. Play with your name. King never gave no information to get anybody in no, but now time with no police. If I am working with the police, it'll be to get him to shoot. You talking about?
That shot instantly had people asking if the Atlanta legend had really lost touch with his roots. According to 50, T.I. wasn't the same hustler-turned-rapper who once carried the South on his back. Instead, he was too busy chasing acting gigs, walking red carpets, and popping up in comedy roles. To 50, that shift meant one thing. T.I. had turned his back on hip-hop's core, the street credibility that built his name.
When they wanted to try, like, even for me personally, my character, and they would try to attack my character. They'll say he a rat or he just a snap. Yeah. All you gotta do is ask him who I told him. Paperwork. I ain't never told him no in my life.
In the Preem situation, look at this case. It'll tell you who told on him. Right. My name in it.
Fans split instantly. Some said 50 was just hating, but others claimed he was exposing the cold truth about T.I. chasing Hollywood relevance. Some people said 50 was just stirring up smoke for clout, but he wasn't finished. Not even close. Instead of backing off, he went even harder, digging straight into T.I.'s past and dragging out the old whispers that he once cooperated with law enforcement. Those rumors had been floating since the late 2000s, all tied to T.Y.'s infamous 2007 Crime Stoppers PSA. 50 made sure those whispers didn't die.
I said, how you feel when them New York like 50 and all them niggas trying to do all of those?
I'ma tell you something. When you're fighting a man with no arms, expect to get kicked.
Hey, what's happening, y'all? Some people call me Tip, but this is about another.
He mocked him nonstop, even reposting the PSA clip where Tip looked into the camera and urged people to report crimes. For T.I., that wasn't just a playful jab. It was a full-on strike at his credibility in a culture where street loyalty is everything. What made it sting even more?
The kind of tip that can help our mothers, our sisters, our brothers, and our fathers help get the perpetrators who commit crimes against them off the streets. All you got to do is call Crime Stoppers Atlanta. Tip can be anonymous, and there's even a reward. The number to Crime Stoppers Atlanta is 404-577-8477. That's 404-577-TIP. Channel 2, Community Care.
50 and T.I. weren't always enemies. Back in the day, they were cool, even collaborating musically while branching out into business moves beyond rap. But everything changed after T.I. got hit with that massive federal gun case in 2007, and that's where the trust broke down. T.I. was facing decades behind bars for machine guns and silencers, but instead of disappearing for years, he shocked the world with what looked like a slap on the wrist. A little house arrest, some community service, and a short prison bid. That was it. For the hip-hop community, especially for guys like 50 who came up in a culture where the street code was everything, it didn't make sense at all. How could somebody walk away so clean from charges that heavy? Suspicion spread fast, and 50 couldn't resist fanning the flames. He even said other rappers saw it too, but kept quiet, calling them a bunch of before cutting himself off, letting the audience fill in the blanks. And then came the PSA. Watching T.I. on camera telling people to cooperate with police was like pouring gasoline on the fire. To many, it stamped him as a snitch, and 50 knew exactly how to twist the knife. He threw slick wordplay into G-Unit's track, "You So Tough," hinting that T.I. must have cut a deal to dodge real time. He never mentioned T.I. by name, but the fans didn't need it spelled out. Everybody knew. The implication landed heavy, and it stuck to Tip's image like glue. Anytime 50 wanted to clown somebody for being soft or suspect, that Crime Stoppers clip was right there, waiting to be dragged back into the spotlight. What makes this feud even crazier is that T.I. wasn't about to just sit there and take the punches. He came swinging back, calling 50 out and challenging him to a 20-song versus battle on 50's own birthday, no less. He flipped the script, saying if 50 thought he had so much dirt on him, then prove it by going catalog to catalog, hit for hit, in front of the world. But 50, the king of petty, wasn't letting him get away that easy. Instead of focusing on the music, he doubled down on the snitch narrative, reposting that infamous PSA clip every chance he got. And when Tekashi 6ix9ine's case had snitching dominating headlines, 50 jumped on it again, reminding everyone of T.I.'s old video and tying him right into the biggest conversations about loyalty in hip-hop. T.I. clapped back hard, brushing it off and saying the accusations were cute but weak. He flipped it right back, claiming the real problem was 50 trying to distract people from his own skeletons in the closet. Then he really turned up the heat, taunting 50's entire legacy, saying the Queens rapper had one hot album and a whole lot of trash after that. The disrespect was bold, and instead of cooling things down, it made the fire even bigger. Every move between these two turned into pure spectacle. Social media posts, interviews, podcasts. Their beef was like a never-ending rap soap opera, and people couldn't stop watching. Fans kept asking the same burning question. Was 50 really exposing something legit about T.I.'s past, or was this just another masterclass in trolling from one of hip-hop's greatest instigators? I wasn't about to let his name get dragged without clapping back. That's when the war of words with 50 hit a whole new level. After 50 resurfaced the Crime Stoppers video, Tip went live with comedian K. Dub Walker, then later hopped on the Big Facts podcast, and he made it crystal clear. He never, under any circumstances, gave law enforcement information on anybody. According to him, that PSA was nothing more than a court-ordered PR stunt, something his lawyers arranged while he was staring down decades in federal prison. But here's the problem. In hip-hop, perception is everything. Once that snitch label gets stuck on you, it's almost impossible to shake it off. And 50, he knew exactly how to use it as a weapon. He reposted, laughed, and kept telling fans the math just didn't add up. Because let's be real, most people caught with military-grade weapons don't skate away with a year and some community service. Fans started connecting the dots too, pointing out that even one illegal gun usually means a decade behind bars. So how did Tip manage to dodge heavy time with 30-plus weapons in his case? The streets were left side-eyeing and whispering. Something didn't feel right. Those suspicions gave 50 all the ammo he needed to keep poking the bear. He even hinted that T.I. lost out on the role of Davis McClain in Power because of their beef, a claim Tip quickly denied. But that's classic 50. He knows how to throw dirt in a way that sticks. Whether it's true or not, Tip wasn't folding though. He tried to flip the pressure into opportunity, doubling down on pushing for that Visage showdown. Every insult became fuel. Every accusation turned into promotion as he dared 50 to step into the ring musically. Instead of running from old scandals, T.I. kept hammering at 50's catalog, calling Get Rich or Die Tryin' his only classic and mocking the rest of his career as irrelevant. That's where the beef got even juicier. 50 clowned T.I. for the past, but Tip threw it right back, pointing at 50's stalled out music career and saying he hadn't been hot in years. It was offense, not defense, and it kept T.I. from looking cornered. He basically told 50, if you really want smoke, let's make it public and let the fans decide whose music really holds weight. But 50 wasn't budging. Instead of stepping into a friendly versus, he doubled down on the same narrative, that T.I.'s credibility was permanently stained. And just when things were already heated, another spark hit the fire. After the tragic death of Chicago rapper King Von in November 2020, Tip posted a message telling outsiders to stop bringing violence to Atlanta and to handle their beefs in their own cities. He probably thought he was promoting peace, but the timing couldn't have been worse. Von's family and fans were deep in grief, and to them, Tip's words came off cold, almost like he was trying to distance Atlanta from the tragedy instead of showing love. King Von's sister, Kayla, was furious. She blasted T.I. for inserting himself into something so raw, and of course, 50 wasn't about to let that slide. He quickly reposted her words and told Tip straight up to chill out, calling him out for being out of line during such a sensitive time. For 50, this was more proof that Tip had a habit of talking when he shouldn't, and making himself look bad in the process. It added another messy layer to their feud, shifting it beyond old legal scandals into a bigger pattern of T.I. putting himself in situations where his words worked against him. But here's what really makes this beef cut deep. It's not just about clout or trolling, it's about legacy. Both of these men are heavyweights in hip-hop. 50 built an empire through music, business, and TV, turning himself into a global brand. Meanwhile, Tip carved out his lane as one of the South's kings, pushing trap music into the mainstream. So when 50 accuses Tip of being fake, it's not just an insult, it's a direct challenge to everything T.I. stands for. And when Tip fires back by clowning 50's career, he's really saying, you're not the giant you think you are anymore. It's pride versus pride, ego versus ego, and the fans are stuck in the crossfire. Some roll with 50, saying he's just saying out loud what people have been whispering about T.I. for years. Others defend Tip, pointing out that 50 has his own skeletons and hides them by taking shots at everyone else. The truth might sit somewhere in the middle, but what's crystal clear is that neither man is backing down. Every time it looks like the feud might die out, something fresh sets it off again. An old video pops back up, a random podcast comment goes viral, or a shady social media post kicks off another round of insults. It almost feels like neither one of them actually wants peace, because deep down, they know this drama keeps their names buzzing in a game that forgets people quick. What really keeps the 50 Cent and T.I. feud alive is how both refuse to let the other escape clean. Anytime Tip tries to clear his name, 50 twists the knife all over again. Like when T.I. went on record saying he never snitched, never testified, never gave law enforcement info on anyone. 50 didn't even bother debating the details. He just dropped that Crime Stoppers clip one more time, knowing the image alone was enough to spark doubt in people's minds. That's pure 50 style. He doesn't need to prove a thing. He plants seeds, lets the internet run wild, and watches the chaos unfold. Meanwhile, T.I. stays on defense, hopping on interviews, podcasts, and IG lives trying to explain the whole situation was misunderstood. I kept insisting it wasn't about cooperating. It was about handling legal obligations to dodge a harsher sentence. But here's the problem. In hip-hop, snitching accusations don't fade easy. Even if there's no paperwork, just the idea that you might have cut a deal is enough to scar your reputation forever. And 50 knows that all too well. That's why he never lets up. For him, it's the perfect weapon to keep T.I. off balance while proving to the culture that he's still the undisputed master of beef. But this back and forth also exposes something bigger about hip-hop itself. For decades, authenticity has been the real currency of the streets. You can have platinum hits, sell out arenas, or star in movies. But if people believe you broke the code, none of it matters. That's why the Crime Stoppers PSA still haunts T.I. to this day. Nearly 20 years later, it stands as a symbol, not just of his legal case, but of how fast your image can flip in this game. Fans compare his light sentence to other rappers who got slammed with 10 plus years for less, and to them, it feels like something doesn't add up. Maybe it was brilliant lawyers, maybe it was something else. Either way, the streets never fully bought it. On the flip side though, plenty argue that 50's no saint either. They say he's got his own questionable history, and some even flip the script, clowning 50 as a mouse, and hinting that maybe he too has secrets the public doesn't know about. That's exactly what makes this feud so addictive. Both men have power, influence, and messy histories, and neither one is clean enough to fully expose the other without risking dirt getting thrown right back. So where does that leave us? Stuck in the middle of a feud that's as much about perception as it is about facts. That keeps pushing for a versus battle, insisting music is the best way to settle the score. Meanwhile, 50 keeps dodging it, knowing the spectacle of the feud is more valuable than an actual showdown. And every time that Crime Stoppers clip resurfaces, every time Tip fires back, every time fans debate whether either one is truly solid, the saga only grows louder. And maybe that's the whole play. In today's game, beef sells almost as much as music. Both 50 and T.I. gain from keeping this war alive. 50 gets to remind everyone he's still the most ruthless instigator hip-hop has ever seen, while T.I. proves he won't fold, no matter how many times his past gets thrown back in his face. So whether you believe T.I. broke the code, or think he's just the victim of a never-ending smear campaign, one thing's undeniable. This feud isn't dying anytime soon. It's hip-hop history happening in real time. Two legends clashing, not just for pride, but for how they'll be remembered when the smoke finally clears. And if you want to keep catching all the wildest rap drama as it unfolds, make sure you hit subscribe to JuicyReel. We've got plenty more heat coming your way. And at the end of the day, that's what makes this whole saga so raw. It's not just about bars, it's about legacy. Now it's on you. What's your take on this beef? Is 50 Cent exposing the real truth about T.Y.'s past, or is he just being petty and milking an old rumor for clout? Do you think Tip's light sentence was proof of cooperation, or just the result of powerhouse lawyers doing their job? And here's the $1 million question. If they ever did face off in a versus battle, who's walking away with the crown, the South's Trap King or Queen's ultimate bully? The stage is set, but the answer depends on what you believe. Then drop your thoughts in the comments and let's spark this debate. And if you've been rocking with this breakdown, make sure you hit that subscribe button to JuicyReel. Smash that like, share this with your people, and let us know exactly where you stand in hip-hop's never-ending drama. We've got even more wild stories, deep dives, and hidden truths coming, so tap that bell and stay locked in. You do not want to miss what's next.
Was there any artist that inspired you early on to become a rapper and try this whole music career?
50 Cent. Get Rich or Die Trying. First CD I bought, you know what I'm saying? That's why I signed the Interscope. I just was with 50 in New York, bro. He got the Roy, his new champagne with the chest. I like that. Power, I like that. Respect him.
Chris Lighty's wedding, he told me to take me shopping. I looked at him like, what you just say? Let me move, man, before I do something. You're gonna make me mess up the wedding.
Oh, that's a nice gesture.
Let me get out of no, dude, you take me. That's what a guy says to a girl.
Jaguar Wright just set off a wildfire, and this time, 50 Cent's name is right in the middle of it. She's out here talking wild, claiming that 50's been acting real different behind the scenes, and hinting that his old connection with Soulja Boy wasn't as business-only as people thought. Now the internet's losing it. Fans are dragging up old clips, radio interviews, and even behind-the-scenes footage to see if there were signs everyone missed. People are whispering like crazy, saying Jaguar might have just cracked open a Chapter 50 never wanted to revisit. The idea that their so-called mentor-protege relationship went beyond studio sessions and friendly advice has everyone raising eyebrows. And knowing Jaguar's history, she doesn't hold back. She drops names, receipts, and stories that make everyone squirm.
There's no way in the world that man understands that much about dealings in the industry, is constantly calling people out, and he ain't seen none of it personally. Can't no nigga that take as good as he do and suck. And I know because I've seen tapes of him. I just want to say this about Soulja Boy. Y'all gotta give him a little bit of latitude because he a victim.
Yeah.
You know, he been in the rap game since he was little, just like Weezy.
Yeah.
And his been ran through quite a bit.
Hey.
Whoa.
You
I
know
didn't know that information.
You don't remember when he was in New York and they called him ass naked? Whoever his big daddy was threw him out ass naked into the hallway. He was walking around in the hallway holding his nut.
She said flat out that there was more going on than the public ever knew, and that the energy between them was something people ignored back then because 50 was untouchable. Now that she's speaking up again, folks are wondering, was there truth hiding in plain sight this whole time? What's wild is that every time Jaguar speaks, chaos follows. She's been calling out big names for years, but throwing 50 Cent and Soulja Boy into the mix, that's next level. If even half of what she's implying is real, then this story could explode into something way bigger than another internet rumor.
You have something huge coming up, which is a documentary about P. Diddy, Puff Daddy, P. Diddy.
Yeah.
Did he do it, right?
Yeah.
I know you've been heavy on social media talking about it.
He did it. And I'm the only one who's been vocal about this long before.
Jaguar didn't hold back. She straight up claimed 50 Cent wasn't just mentoring Soulja Boy. She said he was getting real personal behind closed doors. That's right, she hinted there was more than just business meetings going on, and the internet went wild. People started digging through old photos and interviews saying, wait a minute, were there signs this whole time? Now let's be honest, rumors about Soulja Boy being on the low have been floating around for years. Folks online love to talk, and his name's been in suspicious circles before. Some even say certain industry players keep him around for special reasons, like attention, connections, and those private Hollywood favors no one talks about out loud. It's messy. But what really shocked everyone this time was who Jaguar connected him with, 50 Cent. Nobody saw that coming. That's the last man anyone would expect to be dragged into that type of talk. 50's whole image has always been the tough, no-nonsense type, the guy who clowns everyone else for being fake or shady. He's made a whole career out of calling out other rappers, exposing secrets, and mocking scandals.
It's true, Soulja Boy is gay, and I wanted to clear up the fact that it's not a rumor no more. This is for real, like in real life. I met Soulja Boy back in April when he came to Niagara Falls, and me and him swapped numbers through his friend, or whatever, Jabari, and me and him just been kicking it for a little while.
Whenever someone in the industry got caught up in something questionable, 50 was the first one online cracking jokes, posting memes, and acting like the self-appointed morality cop of hip-hop. That's exactly why this story hit like a bomb, because if the man who built his rep on dragging everyone else is suddenly the one being accused, that flips the whole script. The streets are buzzing, people are arguing, and now everyone's asking, is 50 finally on the other side of the rumors he used to laugh at? You remember when 50 went at Sean John years ago? He's always been on that man's neck.
And he was like, take this, you white, like he kept, like he's very like into like the race play stuff. But here's the thing, I don't know if this was really him or it was like drunk him or like, yo, I'm nervous. I'm like, is he gonna hurt me? Is he making music? I'm so nervous. And that thing was big, Tasha.
Most
like,
skinny men got big.
No, that thing was big, Tasha.
But most
like,
skinny men got
I'm gonna
big.
be honest, that thing was like fat and it goes, here's the thing that makes it different. It goes to the left.
Okay.
Like Tasha, it's long and it goes to the left.
Oh, okay, so it's got a curve.
Yeah, to the left.
Long before the world even started whispering about Sean John's wild lifestyle, 50 was already hinting that Sean John once tried to get close to him, talking about how Sean John wanted to take him on an all-expenses-paid shopping trip. He made it sound like Puff was trying to buy more than just clothes, if you know what I mean. 50 clowned Sean John nonstop. When those RICO rumors and investigations started to swirl around Puff, 50 was acting like he'd just hit the lottery. He went into full-blown troll mode, posting wild memes, laughing online, and even dropping that fake docuseries trailer that had everyone crying from laughter. It wasn't just petty, it was savage. He treated Sean John's downfall like a victory parade. Every new headline was another punchline for 50. But the crazy part is, he didn't stop there. Anybody connected to Sean John in any way got caught in the crossfire. French Montana, stray shots. Meek Mill, more stray shots. If you even looked like you were cool with Puff, 50 had a meme waiting for you before you could blink. Remember when Meek tried to defend himself online, swearing he had nothing to do with Sean John's situation? He was on Twitter offering $100,000 to anyone who could expose the person behind the rumors. And right when people started to take Meek seriously, 50 slid in with that AI-edited super freak clip. Sean John as Rick James, Meek as the love interest. The internet went insane. That's the kind of petty energy 50's known for, loud, clever, and ruthless. But now that he's the one being talked about, people are saying maybe karma finally spun the block, and it's 50's turn to feel what it's like being the target of the internet's laughter. 50 really hit a new level of trolling when he posted that caption, "They've been doing Meek dirty. He want to pay $100,000 to find out who's behind this." Pure chaos. That was classic 50, sharp, cold, and straight-up clowning. The man turned Meek's frustration into a viral joke, and social media ate it up. But then out of nowhere, Soulja Boy jumped into the mix like he had no brakes at all. He hopped on X and straight-up tweeted to Meek, "Didn't Sean John fet you?" And that's when everything flipped. The internet froze for a second like, wait, did he really just say that publicly? It was so wild and disrespectful that even people who didn't like Meek had to admit Soulja crossed a line. But here's the twist. That one tweet backfired big time. Instead of roasting Meek, it made people start looking real close at Soulja himself. Fans started asking, why is he talking like that? Why is he so confident throwing that kind of shade? That's when the DL whispers came roaring back, and the internet detectives clocked in for overtime. People started digging up old receipts, screenshots, and of course, that infamous XXL magazine cover from 2010. You know the one, 50 Cent standing behind Soulja Boy, all dominant, while Soulja's shirtless with his jeans pulled halfway down, staring straight into the camera like it's an exclusive photo shoot for grown eyes only. The body language was crazy. Folks were saying it didn't look like a mentor-protege moment. It looked like ownership, like some "you're mine" type of energy. And once that old photo resurfaced, the rumors came flooding back stronger than ever. It didn't help when footage started circling again of one of the dudes Soulja was allegedly messing with. People started connecting the dots, sharing clips, zooming in on details, and asking the one question that 50 never wanted to hear. Was Jaguar Wright telling the truth this whole time? Then came the wildest twist yet. This white dude named William, known online as the Baddest, popped up on Tasha K's podcast with a jaw-dropping story. He straight up claimed that Soulja Boy ate him up at an event. Yeah, you heard that right. He said Soulja was all about that freaky energy behind closed doors, just keeping it squeaky clean for the cameras. The man didn't hold back, describing the whole situation like he was proud to spill the tea. That interview sent shockwaves through the internet. Suddenly, everybody started putting the pieces together. Soulja's past whispers, 50's overly loud anti-DL attitude, that iconic XXL cover where 50's standing behind Soulja all possessive, and Soulja's reckless online behavior. It all started to look like one messy puzzle finally connecting. People were saying, wait a minute, this ain't random. Something's been brewing here for years. And just when you thought it couldn't get any crazier, Jaguar Wright jumped in. And that's when the whole thing exploded. If you've been keeping up, you know Jaguar doesn't miss when it comes to spilling industry dirt. She's been calling out hidden secrets, exposing cover-ups, and naming names like it's her full-time job. When she opened her mouth about 50 and Soulja, the internet went silent for a second, then boom, chaos. She said flat out that 50's been hiding behind his anti-DL act for years. According to Jaguar, all that tough talk and moral policing wasn't about truth. It was about deflection. She claimed he's been trashing DL folks publicly just to keep his own secrets buried deep. Now the streets are whispering louder than ever, saying maybe the reason 50's always the first to clown others is because he's terrified someone might clown him. Jaguar didn't just hint at it, she came out swinging. According to her, 50 Cent's been moving funny for years, and Soulja Boy was right there in the mix with him. But here's the real shocker. Jaguar didn't say it like gossip, she said it like fact. She doubled down hard, claiming she's got videotapes. Yeah, actual footage. She even dared both 50 and Soulja to sue her if she was lying. That's bold energy right there. She basically told them, go ahead, take me to court if you think I'm capping. And that's when things got real interesting. Because what happened next? Silence. Total silence. No jokes, no memes, no subliminal posts from 50, and no defensive tweets from Soulja. Nothing. Just crickets across the board. That quiet was louder than any diss track could ever be. Fans started asking the obvious. If it's not true, why not speak up? Since when has 50 ever stayed quiet about anything? That's when people started connecting old dots again, saying maybe Jaguar was just confirming what others already suspected. Because here's the thing, Jaguar ain't even the first one to bring this up. Way back in 2015, 50's ex, Vivica A. Fox, dropped a major hint on live TV. She went on Watch What Happens Live and slyly suggested that 50 might have been playing both sides, especially when it came to his suspiciously close bond with Soulja Boy. That comment had everyone side-eyeing back then, but now it sounds like foreshadowing. And what made it even messier? Vivica said that right after 50 started dissing the show Empire, claiming its ratings dropped because it had too much DL activity, fans are now saying maybe that wasn't about the show at all. Maybe he was projecting something way closer to home, and it doesn't even stop there. This thing keeps getting juicier. Remember that old story 50 told about Sean John offering to take him on a full-blown shopping spree? Back then, folks laughed it off like it was just Sean John being Sean John, but now people are saying maybe that offer wasn't so innocent. Word on the street is Sean John might have sensed a little sweetness in 50 and tried to test the waters. The way people are connecting the dots now, it's looking wild. Because when you stack everything side by side, the infamous XXL cover, Soulja's suspicious silence, Vivica A. Fox's bold hints, Jaguar Wright's explosive claims, and Sean John's strange invite, it starts painting a whole new picture. And that picture is way different from the tough, no-nonsense image 50's been pushing for years. It's not the story of a man clowning everyone else. It's a story of someone possibly hiding his own truth while throwing shade to keep attention off himself. Fans online are saying the math is starting to add up. Maybe 50's loudest rants about DL rappers were never about them at all. Maybe they were about protecting his own secrets, and if even half of what's being whispered turns out real, then 50's whole anti-DL enforcer act might just crumble right in front of everyone's eyes. Now social media's lit up like fireworks. Everyone's dissecting every photo, every lyric, every old interview, trying to find clues that 50 might have slipped up without realizing it. TikTok detectives are comparing timelines, saying 50's biggest beefs always seem to explode right when someone gets close to exposing him. Coincidence? People aren't so sure anymore. And Soulja Boy, he's been acting real unpredictable lately. One day he's going live talking tough. The next, he's deleting posts like someone warned him to chill out. That silence from both of them has the internet convinced something's being covered up. Folks are saying if it was all lies, 50 would have roasted Jaguar in 10 minutes flat. But he didn't. Not even a meme. That's not normal for him. Now, gossip blogs are jumping on this full speed, dropping supposed insider tea, saying there's way more to come. Some claim that the reason 50's been extra focused on producing shows like Power and BMF isn't just business, it's distraction, like he's building empires to keep the spotlight far from his private life. Meanwhile, Jaguar's been teasing she's got proof, saying she's not done yet and that what she's holding could end reputations overnight. People are buzzing. YouTube's flooded with reaction videos. Fans are split down the middle. Some say Jaguar's chasing clout. Others swear she's telling the truth and that 50's empire could shake if this blows up any further. And here's the wildest part. Hollywood insiders are allegedly whispering that 50's camp is in damage control mode right now, trying to make sure nothing leaks. The energy online's tense. Everyone's waiting to see if Jaguar drops that footage she swears she's got. Because if she does, it won't just be a scandal. It'll be one of the biggest plot twists hip-hop's ever seen. Now, the internet's calling it out loud, saying 50's whole industry image might have been a front this entire time. One user posted, honestly, not surprising at all. Acting anti-gay is the perfect cover. He'd been deflecting for years. Another chimed in, we knew the truth the moment that XLL cover dropped and Soulja got signed. Sean John wouldn't have invited 50 on that shopping spree if he didn't think he'd say yes. The comments are ruthless, and it's clear. People are divided but hungry for answers. So what do you think? Has 50 been faking the tough guy act all along just to hide his real side? Or is Jaguar right just stirring chaos for clout? And what about Soulja? Has he been playing innocent while keeping his own secrets tucked away? Fans are demanding receipts, and the silence from both of them is only making the rumors grow louder by the hour. This whole thing feels like the calm before another storm, because every time 50 stays quiet, something always follows. So drop your thoughts in the comments. Let's talk about it. This story's nowhere near finished, and the next chapter's about to get even messier. If you thought this was wild, hit that subscribe button and dive into the next JuicyReel video, because trust me, you don't want to miss what's coming next.
Welcome back to JuicyReel, where the truth don't hide and the drama's always loud. 50 Cent is loving this madness, and he's feasting on the chaos like it's his favorite meal. Jay-Z just got slapped with a wild legal storm, and it's officially serious now. A judge has given the green light to Rear Carter's paternity case. It's not gossip anymore, it's in the system, locked and loaded. Jay's got until July 18th to clap back or face real heat in court. TikTok, time's flying. But hold up, it gets even crazier. Word on the street is 50 Cent is actually funding Rear Carter's legal team. Not just that, he's scheming to throw Jay-Z into a jaw-dropping documentary he's cooking up. And guess who else is on the menu? Diddy. That's right. 50's stacking receipts, witness stories, and court records, planning to spill it all in crispy HD. This ain't shade, it's straight fire. Now here's the explosive part. Ryer claims Jay had ties to a 16-year-old girl back in 1992, and now, 3 decades later, her son is demanding answers. He wants a DNA test. He wants justice, and he's not backing down. He's coming for truth, exposure, and public accountability. And guess who just got pulled into the mess? Beyonce. Yup, her name's now being tossed into the mix too. This whole thing is spiraling fast, and you already know we're following every twist. Subscribe to JuicyReel so you don't miss a single messy drop. The whispers are loud now, and they say Beyonce's been quietly moving behind the curtain doing whatever she can to shut this case down before it explodes any further. Word is she's been pulling strings from day one, trying to bury Jay's past so deep it never sees daylight. But if this scandal keeps picking up steam, it could blow the whole thing sky high. Jay-Z's polished image, his storybook marriage with Queen Bee, that billion-dollar mogul status, it could all come crumbling down, fast. Now let's talk about the man in the middle of this storm, Rymir. And let's get one thing straight, it's Rymir Satterthwaite, not Carter. Stop mixing that up. This ain't no clout chase. This dude's been in the trenches, legally swinging since he was just 19. For over a decade, Rymir's been chasing the truth. 10 long years of court delays, shady silence, and people brushing him off like he's nothing. But he kept pushing. Solo. No big lawyers, no PR team, just a stack of receipts and pure grit. He says it plain. Jay-Z is his biological father, and he swears the proof is airtight. And here's the chilling twist. Rymir's mother, Wanda, allegedly met Jay when she was still underage. They got close, she ended up pregnant, and when she tried to reach out for help, he vanished. No response, no support, just straight up silence. This saga's getting darker by the day, and we're not even at the peak yet. Subscribe to JuicyReel for more raw truth and real-time updates. No calls, no help, no responsibility. Jay-Z just dipped, vanished like none of it ever happened. Total silence. But now, that silence might be the very thing that comes back to crush it all. Now that Rymir's grown, he's not holding back anymore. He's speaking up loud, clear, and raw, and he refuses to be silenced ever again. But wait, it gets deeper. Lily Coley, Rymir's godmother, came through with some heavy-hitting tea. She claims that Jay-Z's team was quietly working behind closed doors, trying to keep everything under wraps. And get this, at one point they even floated the idea of signing Rymir to Roc Nation just to keep things smooth and hush-hush. Why? Because apparently the guy's got real music skills, serious talent. But then, out of nowhere, everything flipped. Suddenly, new lawyers rolled in, cold and aggressive like sharks circling. The whole vibe shifted, the soft talk was gone, and it turned into a full-blown legal lockdown. So what happened? Why the sudden switch up? Word on the street is they realized the stakes. If the world found out Jay-Z was allegedly linked to a minor back in the early 90s, this wouldn't just be a scandal. It could blow up into a legal catastrophe, one that doesn't just stain his name. It could open the floodgates. And guess what? It ain't stopping here. This ain't just about some age difference anymore. It runs way deeper than that. If what's being claimed is real, then Jay-Z didn't just have a thing with a 16-year-old. He allegedly took her across state lines, from Philly all the way to Brooklyn. That's not just messy, that's federal. We're talking FBI level serious. Now it makes total sense why Jay's legal team has been going full beast mode for over 10 years, doing everything possible to bury this case under the rug. Let's break this wild ride down real quick. We've got a 33-year-old man, Rymir, standing firm claiming Jay-Z is his biological father. We've got a mother, Wanda, now deceased, who left behind a signed statement detailing exactly what happened back in the day. Her story was put on record, and she didn't hold back. Now, after years of back and forth legal limbo, a judge finally said enough is enough and just gave the green light for the case to officially move forward. It's no longer whispers, it's no longer rumors. This thing's rolling fast, and let's not forget, there's someone out there adding serious gasoline to the blaze, 50 Cent. He's watching, funding, and possibly even filming, making sure this storm hits every screen it can. 50 Cent isn't just watching from the sidelines. He's front and center, foot slammed on the gas, steering this whole operation with full force. He's not playing games. He wants Jay-Z sweating under the spotlight, and he's making sure the pressure hits hard. And the timing couldn't be messier. With Diddy already getting dragged through the mud in a tidal wave of controversy, this new legal heat is turning the entire hip-hop elite upside down. All eyes are locked in, but not just watching. They're side-eyeing every move, dissecting every slip-up these legends make. Now, since we're already talking Diddy, here's the wild twist. The streets are buzzing with whispers that some of the evidence in Diddy's case might actually trace back to Jay-Z. Yeah, you heard that right. Names are crossing lines, cases are overlapping, and this web, it's getting real tight, real fast. The spotlight is blazing. And now all those voices that were brushed off, ignored, or silenced for years, they're finally breaking through, loud, raw, and crystal clear. Jay-Z probably thought this storm would never resurface. He likely figured the past was locked away, gone for good. But 2025 had other plans. And now, the past is kicking the door down with receipts in hand. The whole world's watching this like a movie premiere. Your popcorn ready, jaws dropping, and this drama is just heating up. Let's rewind to 1992, so back when Jay-Z was still grinding hard, trying to break into the rap game. He wasn't a mogul yet, just a hungry name on the rise. According to Wanda, Rymir's mother, that's when she first met him in Philly. Jay picked her up, took her all the way to his aunt's spot in Brooklyn, and they linked up. 2 weeks later, poof, gone. No calls, no follow-up, just vanished. But that's only the surface. The real story runs way darker. Dr. Lily Coley, Wanda's close friend and Rymir's godmother, stepped up with some heavy tea. She says Wanda told her everything before she passed, and what she shared. Chilling. Back then, Jay wasn't even going by his real name. He was using his street alias, Rock. Everything went down in a rough neighborhood, deep in the street scene, with drug deals popping off all around. This wasn't luxury cars and VIP lounges, but it was raw, unfiltered hustle. And allegedly, Jay-Z was in the thick of it, moving weight right in that area. Wanda, she got caught up in it, young, vulnerable, and trapped in a world with no real way out. When she found out she was pregnant, she was on her own. No support, no help, just a teenage girl stuck in the middle of chaos. And now that buried past is back. It's banging at the front door, loud and unrelenting, and it's not going away without answers. Hit subscribe on JuicyReel to keep riding through this wild saga. No number to call, no way to reach Jay-Z, no support. Wanda was completely left in the dark, forced to figure it all out on her own. With nowhere to turn and no help in sight, she did what so many young women have done when they're cornered. She put her then boyfriend, Robert Graves, on the birth certificate as the father. She was just trying to survive the storm. But here's where it all starts unraveling, and fast. Jump to 2011. Robert finally agrees to take a DNA test, and bam, just like that, he's officially removed from the birth certificate. Why? Because the test proved it. He wasn't the dad. And if Wanda only ever had 2 men in her life at that time, Robert and Jay-Z, then let's keep it real. Only one name is left standing. That's when Rymir had enough. No more waiting, no more hoping for the system to finally play fair. He took matters into his own hands and filed a legal case against Jay-Z directly. But from the jump, it's been nothing but legal chaos. Shady backroom deals, sneaky paperwork switches, and a whole lot of courtroom games meant to stall and block him at every turn. This fight ain't over, and JuicyReel is keeping you locked in with every twist. Hit that subscribe and stay tapped in. Rymir first filed that paternity case back in 2010, and ever since, it's been a straight-up legal nightmare. He claims Jay-Z's team has been moving slick behind the scenes, allegedly cutting quiet checks to judges and lawyers just to keep the case buried in silence. And honestly, the way this case keeps getting tossed around, refiled, bounced from court to court, and hit with endless delays, how can anyone say that ain't shady? It's starting to look real grimy out here. Jay-Z's legal crew clearly thought they had it all figured out. They tried pulling a slick move, arguing that he couldn't be forced to take a DNA test in New Jersey because he didn't own any property there. That was their big loophole, but Rymir wasn't having it. He pulled up receipts, real documents, showing that Jay actually did own property in Jersey during that exact time period. So that excuse, shut down, fast. Now the whole game's flipping. This ain't just about 50 Cent clowning around on social media anymore. Nah, he's writing real checks and fully backing Rymir. He's not trolling, he's funding a full-on mission, and the stakes just got way higher. Don't sleep on this. Subscribe to JuicyReel for the next wave of courtroom drama and behind-the-scenes heat. Now here's where it really starts heating up. Sources say Jay-Z's team has been working overtime to keep key documents sealed. Files that could blow the lid off this whole paternity situation. And Rymir, he's been fighting like crazy just to get access to his own birth records. Think about that, a man can't even get the full truth about himself without running into legal brick walls. But it doesn't stop there. Allegedly, there were missing court transcripts, mysteriously altered filings, and a whole lot of legal gymnastics that seemed designed to stall, confuse, and bury the facts. This isn't just one delay. It's been over a decade of strategic blockades, and people are starting to notice. Word is, multiple legal analysts have already stepped in and are calling this case unusual, even highly questionable. Some are even whispering that certain court officials may have stepped out of bounds to protect the bigger name in the room, and we all know who that is. Meanwhile, 50 Cent is still fueling this train with full power. He's putting together that documentary piece by piece, And from what's being said, he's lining up exclusive interviews, court records, and never-before-seen footage. It's looking more like a takedown mission than just another legal battle. This ain't just a case anymore. It's a full-blown war, and there's serious money moving behind the scenes. What started as some low-key paternity drama has exploded into one of the biggest scandals hip-hop's ever seen. A judge finally said, that's it, no more delays. And with 50 Cent turning up the heat from every direction, Jay-Z might be facing a truth bomb he can't dodge this time. Rymir Carter is standing tall, 10 toes down. He ain't folding, he ain't backing off, and he sure ain't letting go until the truth is out in the open for the world to see. And that July 18 deadline? It's creeping up fast, and every eye in the game is locked on Jay-Z. Will he finally step up and take the DNA test, or will he pull another Houdini move and try to slip out the spotlight once again? One thing's crystal clear. This storm isn't fading. It's growing louder, wilder, and way more dangerous. And with 50 Cent in full savage mode, you already know he's gonna drag this drama out, flipping every stone and enjoying every second of Jay squirming under the pressure. Now we want to hear from you. What do you think's about to pop off? Is Jay gonna face it or keep playing hide and seek with the truth? Drop your thoughts in the comments, smash that like button, hit subscribe, tap the bell, and share this video with someone who needs to see it. Because this tea, oh, it's just getting hotter. Catch you in the next one. Only on JuicyReel.
Yes, Charleston White is correct. I'm a rapper, not a dealer. Be sure to catch my new show, 50 Cent, 50 Ways.
50 Cent just humiliated Big Meech after reports dropped.
I see that Meech Home concert got the streets talking. The biggest Meech Home, the streets back. That's what I'm talking about. That's how real niggas come home and get it.
That Rick Ross allegedly scammed him out of a jaw-dropping $120 million deal.
50, who own your masters? Who own your masters? I buy your masters. You ready? I will buy your masters.
Ross had been running his mouth about major movie projects and huge opportunities, but in the end, he delivered absolutely nothing. Now Meech is left looking broke and embarrassed, while 50 turns his name into pure comedy for the whole world to see.
Here's the clip where he made those promises loud and clear.
Yeah, so look, I do want to do a BMF film because you've been entertained by a lackluster, small budget series. Now it's time to do a big budget film. Which director? Shout out.
So wild that fans are even saying the only way this drama ends is with Meech actually stepping into the boxing ring to fight 50. Imagine that headline. But let's rewind to where all this chaos started. After Big Meech got out of the streets, he really thought his comeback was about to be legendary. And that's when Rick Ross swooped in, full of promises that sounded like a dream come true. He hyped up a $120 million film deal, massive projects, the whole package, and the receipts don't lie. There's even a clip where Ross made those bold promises loud and crystal clear. It looked like Meech was finally about to cash in on his status as a street legend, but instead, Ross gave him nothing but smoke and mirrors. He basically used Meech's name just to flex on 50, his longtime rival, without ever delivering a single thing.
To my homie F. Gary Gray, Antoine Foucault, what's up? Tarantino, it's a lot of legends. This is gonna be big.
Ross was dangling movie dreams like bait. It was actually 50 Cent putting up the real money. He's the one who made the BMF show a reality. He paid for Lil Meech's acting classes and he gave him the spotlight to shine. Ross, just empty talk and free PR clout. And don't think it's only 50 claiming that. People close to him back it up too. Tony Yayo himself broke it all down with no hesitation. This feud is getting nastier by the day, and you don't want to miss what's coming next. Make sure you hit that subscribe button to JuicyReel for the rest of the tea. Now the reports are saying Big Meech is frustrated, broke, and finally realizing Rick Ross only linked up with him just to take shots at 50 Cent. Ultimate embarrassment, because instead of leveling up, Meech is out here looking like a pawn in somebody else's petty beef. But trust me, the fake promises were just a warm-up. Things really spiraled when Meech's own son got caught up in the drama. After those leaked texts where Lil Meech was allegedly saying F Ross, you'd think he'd keep his distance, right? Nope. Just days later, cameras catch him hanging out with Rick Ross at the club like they're besties. Make it make sense. The viral video had everybody talking, Lil Meech and Ross side by side, whispering in each other's ears, posing for pics, smiling big while the whole spot was lit up in red lights. It looked like a reunion, not a rivalry. And of course, you know 50 Cent wasn't about to let that slide. He hopped online with one of his signature troll jokes, saying Ross told Lil Meech to give him his dad's address so he could send some Wingstop wings over. Savage. But here's the kicker. That joke wasn't just comedy, it was a full-on message. 50 was basically saying Ross ain't building anything for Meech. He's just feeding him scraps like fast food leftovers. And if you thought that was brutal, wait till you hear this. Out of nowhere, 50 dropped a now-deleted post exposing that he personally had to send Lil Meech to rehab. That revelation shocked everyone because it wasn't just trolling anymore, it was pulling receipts from behind the scenes. This story is getting crazier by the minute, and you already know there's more heat coming. Hit that subscribe button to JuicyReel so you don't miss the next bombshell. 50 came out swinging with the details. He said Lil Meech was showing up to set high, so lit that he even threw up during a weapons test. And if that wasn't wild enough, they allegedly found whippets in his truck. 50 even joked that he had no idea what whippets were and had to Google it. He painted the whole picture of himself stepping in as the responsible one, trying to keep Lil Meech focused, while Meech's own father was out here hyping up the same destructive habits. And this ain't just talk, remember, Lil Meech even managed to get himself arrested at an airport. That right there says a lot about the chaos going on. Once 50 put all of this out there, people started questioning everything. Did 50 actually save Lil Meech's career from falling apart before it even took off? And if that's true, then why on earth is Meech suddenly cozying up with Rick Ross? The whole situation just wasn't adding up. Then, boom, another voice jumped in and made things way uglier. Michael Rainey Jr., the actor everybody knows as Tariq from Power, went live and didn't hold back for a single second. A fan asked him if he felt bad for Lil Meech, and instead of dodging the question or being politically correct, Michael went straight savage mode with his answer. He said exactly what was on his mind, no filter. That clip spread like wildfire across social media, and of course, who do you think reposted it with a laugh? Yep, none other than 50 Cent himself. He even doubled down by echoing Michael's words in his caption, basically stamping approval on the whole thing. The message was loud and clear. 50 was fully backing his power star while pushing the Meech is weak narrative harder than ever. And for Meech, the timing couldn't have been worse. It made him look like he was losing respect, not just from fans, but from everybody in 50's circle. This drama just keeps snowballing. And trust me, you don't want to miss what's next. Hit that subscribe button to JuicyReel so you're locked in for the next twist. The truth is, all this smoke had been bubbling since Big Meech's failed Welcome Back concert. When Meech came home, people expected fireworks, a massive comeback moment stacked with rap legends. But instead of keeping 50 in the mix, the man who literally turned his story into a TV empire, Meech decided to lean on Rick Ross instead. There's even a clip of them hyping the event, making it seem like it was going to be one of the most legendary concerts ever, but guess what? That move backfired in the worst way possible. The concert never even happened. For 50, that was the last straw. He went off accusing Meech of cutting deals with the feds and blasting him all over social media. And the fans? They started questioning everything about Meech's image as a street legend, and teaming up with Rick Ross only made it uglier. To the public, it looked like Meech traded loyalty for clout, and 50 wasted no time turning that idea into facts with his non-stop posts. Instead of making history with an iconic return, the so-called comeback turned into the exact moment people stopped writing for Meech. His credibility was slipping fast, and that's when Meech finally decided to clap back. Meech posted an old throwback picture of him with 50, but here's the kicker. He slapped a giant rat emoji right over 50's face. No guessing needed. He was calling 50 a snitch straight up, and he didn't stop there. He doubled down by calling him an internet gangster, basically saying 50 does nothing but troll from behind his phone like a keyboard warrior. This was no longer just rap beef. This was straight disrespect going public, and trust, the fallout from this move was brutal. Stick with JuicyReel and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss the next wild turn in this feud. Rick Ross wasn't about to sit quiet. He piled on too, mocking 50 for being salty about his link up with Big Meech. Fans saw the whole thing as a straight-up tag team move, with Ross co-signing Meech just to poke the bear even harder. There's even a moment where Ross flat out mocked 50 for being mad that Meech was standing right next to him, like it was all just one big joke at 50's expense. But here's where people caught the irony. 50 had actually given Lil Meech real opportunities, investing in his acting career and putting him on with the BMF show, while Ross was only offering flashy photo ops. Yet somehow, Meech seemed more willing to roll with Ross. That contradiction had the internet buzzing, and it sparked the next wild rumor that Meech wanted to fight 50 for real. After the rat post and Ross's non-stop trolling, the internet exploded with chatter about a possible boxing match between 50 Cent and Big Meech. Some fans thought it'd be epic, while others thought it was sad, saying Meech had been reduced to chasing clout through celebrity boxing just to validate himself. But what really threw fuel on the fire was Meech himself. When asked if he'd ever swing back, he hinted that he'd lace up the gloves if it came down to it. Even if he said it half-jokingly, the internet ate it up and ran with the story full speed. Once the boxing buzz hit the blogs, it spread like wildfire. You couldn't scroll without seeing it. But just as the hype reached its peak, Wack 100 came in with a bombshell theory that shook the whole narrative. According to Wack, this beef wasn't just about loyalty or Rick Ross, it was about secrets. He claimed Meech's own confidant, Tammy Cowan, had once told 50 that Meech actually conspired with federal authorities in other street cases. And now that's the kind of accusation that can flip the whole game upside down. Stick with JuicyReel and smash that subscribe button, because the next twist in this saga is about to get even crazier. In other words, Wack was hinting that Big Meech wasn't nearly as loyal to the streets as people always believed, and that's exactly where 50's whole snitch narrative really came from. But Wack didn't stop there. He pushed it even further, saying that Tammy, Meech's own confidant, might have had her own motives for turning on him. Maybe she felt abandoned when he got locked up, or maybe she was tired of him trying to claw back his life rights, the same rights he had already negotiated with 50 for the BMF series. If any of that's true, it puts Meech in a tight corner, because it means the person closest to him might have been secretly feeding 50 ammo the entire time. And the way Wack framed it, he made it sound like betrayal mixed with business gone sour, a deadly combo in this game. But whether Wack was spilling straight facts or just stirring the pot for clout, one thing became crystal clear. It gave 50 even more firepower to keep clowning, and fans, they ate it up. One of the biggest viral moments came when Big Meech popped out wearing Kanye West's iconic graduation jacket. On the surface, it looked like just a flashy fit, a simple flex. But the internet caught the symbolism instantly. That's the same album that famously outsold 50 back in their 2007 head-to-head sales battle. Some fans laughed it off like a coincidence, but others swore Meech did it on purpose, like he was leaning into 50's old losses just to poke his former ally in the ribs. Either way, the timing made it look messy, like Meech was doubling down on bad optics instead of clearing his name. And trust me, this saga's not slowing down anytime soon. Subscribe to JuicyReel now so you don't miss the next explosive twist. But if you thought the Kanye jacket moment was the peak of the trolling, oh no, it only set the stage for the next round of chaos. After that stunt, fans swarmed the comments calling Big Meech out of touch and accusing him of chasing clout instead of fixing his reputation. The energy was shifting fast, and instead of sympathy, people were laughing at him like he was the punchline of his own story. And then came 50's next move. He dropped another petty but lethal post, this time showing side-by-side pictures of his BMF series cast versus Big Meech's failed concert flyers. The message, clear as day. I made your story legendary, you tried, and you flopped. It was savage, and the internet ran wild with memes turning Meech's comeback into a full-blown joke. Meanwhile, Rick Ross kept fueling the fire too, jumping into comments, liking shady posts, and even hinting that he might put Meech in a music video just to rub it in 50's face. Fans started clowning, saying Ross was treating Meech like a prop instead of a partner, and yet Meech still kept showing up around him. The optics just looked bad, like he was being passed around as a pawn in somebody else's game. And while all this mess was unfolding, whispers started spreading that 50 wasn't done yet. He was sitting on even more receipts. Some insiders claimed he had text calls and straight-up contracts that could expose just how deep Meech's ties with Ross really went. If that's true, then this saga hasn't even hit its climax yet. Right now, it feels like Big Meech is playing defense, Ross is playing cheerleader, and 50, he's running the scoreboard. And trust me, you're gonna want front row seats for when the next bombshell drops. So hit that subscribe button to JuicyReel, cause the wildest part of this feud might still be ahead. Just when everybody thought the beef couldn't get any messier, another twist popped out of nowhere. Rumors started swirling that 50 Cent was in talks to drop a tell-all documentary about the BMF story. One that wouldn't just focus on the empire, but would dive deep into all the shady backdoor deals, the betrayals, and the real drama behind the scenes. Fans immediately connected the dots, saying this was 50's master plan all along, to control the narrative and leave Meech with no voice in his own legacy. And here's where it got uglier. Insiders claimed Rick Ross was scrambling to cook up his own counter-project, trying to make a flashy Meech and Rose-style doc or series. But critics online weren't buying it. They said Ross didn't have the receipts, he just had Meech's name to ride off. The comparison started pouring in, 50 delivering real productions, Ross delivering photo ops, and Meech caught in the middle, looking like he didn't know which way to move. To add even more fuel, 50 reportedly liked a comment from a fan that said, Meech picked the wrong side of history. That single like spread across blogs and made it clear 50 wasn't backing down anytime soon. Every little move was being analyzed like a chess match, and Meech was starting to look like the player with the weakest strategy. And as if the documentary rumors weren't enough, whispers began that 50 had even more unreleased footage of Lil Meech behind the scenes, clips that could damage his image permanently if they ever saw daylight. Whether that's true or not, the possibility alone had fans buzzing, saying 50 was holding nuclear-level receipts, just waiting for the perfect moment to drop them. At this point, the drama feels less like a feud and more like a full-blown saga, with 50 playing puppeteer while Ross and Meech scramble to keep up. And if 50 really does unleash that documentary, game over. Make sure you smash that subscribe button to JuicyReel, because the next chapter in this feud could blow everything wide open. What really shook people wasn't what happened, but what didn't happen. Normally, 50 would have been the first to roast a goofy fit, screenshot a wild pose, or drop some brutal meme, but this time, straight silence. And that silence had fans convinced something was up, like 50 was holding back on purpose, saving his ammo for something way bigger. Because if you know 50, when he skips a roast, it usually means he's loading a much heavier shot. At this stage, it's crystal clear this isn't just casual trolling anymore. 50 looks locked in on Meech like it's an obsession. Most rap beefs fizzle out after a few weeks, but with Meech, every single move gets a response, every slip gets magnified, and every alliance gets twisted into a weapon. Some folks say this is personal betrayal. 50 gave Lil Meech opportunities, invested in him, and put him on, only to watch him cozy up to Rick Ross, his biggest rival. Others argue it's about dominance. 50 doesn't just want to win, he wants to completely crush anybody who dares to cross him. And that's the scariest part. Letting Meech slide would make 50 look weak, and that's not in his playbook. So now, the whispers are getting louder. If this feud ever jumps from Instagram posts to the boxing ring, it won't just be entertainment, it'll be the explosive final chapter in a beef that's already spiraled out of control. One man is out here trying to protect his legacy, while the other seems determined to destroy it just for laughs. And the way this storm is building is looking less like a rumor and more like the inevitable next move waiting to explode. So lock in and subscribe to JuicyReel right now, because when this powder keg finally blows, you're gonna want to see it first.
Be doing so much and running, and it just really dawned on me. It's the man that my mom was underage when she consumed me. Anyone who'd have been older.
Welcome back to JuicyReel channel. You won't believe what just happened. Jay-Z's alleged son, Rymir Satterthwaite, just pulled another wild move, and it's turning into a full-blown legal storm. 50 Cent just stepped into the ring and officially offered to help Rymir sue Jay-Z. Yep.
15 and 22. Damn.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Now I can kind of see why he's probably not claiming it, because it looks bad on his reputation, because he has a history. Like if you look at like even Beyonce, like he was in his 30s and Beyonce was barely 19.
It's getting serious fast. This comes right after a judge gave Rymir the green light to move forward with his case. And let's just say, Jay-Z is not taking it well. Instead of agreeing to a simple DNA test, which could settle this whole thing in seconds, Jay put out a strange public statement accusing Rymir of harassing him for years. On top of that, Jay's legal team is now threatening to expose Rymir's so-called lies in court. But here's the thing, why not just take the test then? Now here's where it gets real dark. People close to the situation are saying the real reason Jay might be ducking that DNA test is because of who Rymir's mother is, and more importantly, how old she was when she got pregnant. According to Rymir, his mom Wanda was not a legal adult when 22-year-old Jay allegedly got her pregnant. Let that sink in. What's Jay really hiding here? Why keep running from a test if you got nothing to cover up? And don't forget, Jay barely escaped a major scandal not too long ago when one of Diddy's accusers dropped his name, saying Jay and Diddy both groped her when she was 13. That accusation made waves. fast. This could all spiral into something massive. If you want to stay in the loop with all the drama, don't miss a beat. Hit that subscribe button now. More shocking updates are coming real soon.
Looking good for
Now
Jay.
get this. Remember that woman who accused Jay-Z and Diddy of serious stuff? Yeah, she did drop the lawsuit, but here's the twist. She just came forward and said she never took back her accusations. According to her, the only reason she dropped it was because Jay allegedly sent private investigators to scare her off. Yeah, that's what she's saying, straight up intimidation. But here's the real shady part. Most major media outlets won't even touch this. Not a peep. TMZ, silent. The Shade Room, acting like it never happened. And it's not by accident. These platforms are known for tiptoeing around Jay-Z. Go ahead, check for yourself. Type Rymere in their search bars. Nothing. It's like the story doesn't even exist. This drama has been trending across social media for weeks now, yet the biggest celebrity news platforms are acting like it's invisible. The same thing happened with the Jane Doe case too. Total blackout. They didn't report any of it. And get this, just last week a judge actually threw out Jay-Z's defamation lawsuit against Tony Busby. Yeah, that's the lawyer repping Jane Doe, but where's the coverage? Nowhere. So what's really going on here? It feels like everything's being swept under the rug and most bloggers are too scared to speak up. But you know who's not scared? 50 Cent. He straight up mocked Jay for dodging that DNA test, and now reports are saying that 50 didn't just talk. He actually offered Rymere his legal team to take this fight to the next level. This thing's heating up fast and it's clear not everyone's playing fair. Stick with us because you know we're gonna keep digging. Hit that subscribe button so you don't miss what's coming next. You can tell the pressure's getting to Jay-Z. His legal team is already scrambling to shut Rymere down. They've even launched a full-on PR campaign to make him look unhinged. But let's be real. If Jay had nothing to hide, why is he dropping big money on lawyers instead of just taking a simple DNA test? That test could end all of this in one shot, and it's not even expensive. Right now, Rymere's got the upper hand. With receipts piling up and 50 Cent backing him up, Jay might actually be in trouble this time. Now let's talk about 50 Cent's role in this mess. At first, 50 slid into the drama just to troll. He hit Instagram pointing out how Jay-Z and Rymere even look alike. Fans were eating it up. But then 50 took things to a whole new level. Sources close to the situation say 50 personally reached out to Rymere and offered his own legal team to help with the case. Yeah, 50's not just clowning anymore, he's invested. And he added even more fuel by posting a cryptic message on IG. A good lawyer knows the law, a great lawyer knows the judge. Hey, whew, that's a heavy shot. Until now, mainstream media basically buried Rymere's case. Total silence. But with 50 now involved, things are shifting fast. Jay's team is clearly rattled. They've started scrambling to get ahead of this. They just filed new court documents begging the judge to dismiss Rymere's lawsuit altogether. According to docs obtained by Us Weekly, Jay's side is trying everything to shut this down before it really explodes. This case is heating up by the minute. Hit that subscribe button so you don't miss what's about to go down next. Jay-Z's finally clapped back in court, and he's claiming that Rymere's lawsuit is just the latest chapter in what he calls decades of harassment. According to Jay's new filing, all of Rymere's claims are fabricated, and he says multiple courts have already rejected them. He even accused Rymere of ignoring past rulings and claimed that this so-called harassment already got Rymere slapped with a contempt of court order. But here's where it gets messy, because someone just called him out. Dr. Lily Coley, Rymere's former legal guardian and a paralegal, is firing back with some serious allegations of her own. She says Jay-Z's entire court filing is full of blatant lies. In a public statement, Dr. Coley made it crystal clear this story was not fabricated. Wanda's affidavit has been part of the court record for years and has never been withdrawn. She also said that Wanda's account is what gave Rymere the full picture of who his father might be. And that so-called contempt of court claim Jay threw around, Dr. Coley says that's totally false. According to her, nobody in this case, Rymere, Wanda, or herself, has ever been held in contempt. But here's the biggest bombshell. Dr. Coley says the real issue, Rymere's paternity, has never been fully addressed in court. There's never been a proper discovery hearing, no final ruling, nothing. And yet, Jay's out here trying to close the case like it's all been settled. Dr. Coley's exact words? These facts continue to be overlooked in public narratives. But one more thing is being overlooked, and it's huge. Nobody wants to talk about how old Wanda, Ramir's late mother, actually was when Jay allegedly got her pregnant. That detail could change everything, so stay tuned, because this case is far from over. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button for all the latest updates. Let's break down the wild timeline of this case, because facts don't lie, and this story has layers. Ramir first hit the headlines back in 2015 when it was revealed that he had actually filed a paternity suit against Jay-Z in 2014. With the help of his legal guardian, Dr. Lily Coley, Ramir dropped the first complaint, and that's when things instantly started getting weird in court. According to Dr. Coley, the complaint got shut down right away, not because of the evidence, but because Jay-Z and his high-powered lawyer, Lisa Fisher, allegedly brought in false and fraudulent info to get the case dismissed. But Ramir didn't stop there. In 2018, he came back with a whole new set of court filings, this time accusing Jay-Z of using his celebrity power and deep pockets to keep dodging a paternity test. Now here's where things go from strange to straight up shady. Ramir's case kept getting denied because, supposedly, the judge was told that his biological father had already been confirmed. But when Ramir finally got a copy of his own birth certificate, guess what? No father listed, zero, blank, nothing. Then came the real betrayal. Ramir later found out that members of his own legal team were secretly in touch with Jay-Z's lawyers behind the scenes. That's not just sketchy, that's a massive conflict of interest. In an interview with The Sun, Ramir said he was denied a fair hearing because of shady legal moves and outright malpractice. He also revealed something personal. His late mother, Wanda, first told him Jay-Z was his father when he was just 8 years old. According to her, she and Jay had a short fling back in 1992 at Jay's aunt's apartment in the Brooklyn projects. So not only was Ramir blocked from getting answers, he was possibly set up to fail from the start. Hit that subscribe button to keep up with this case, because trust, it's only getting deeper. Wanda once told her side of the story. She said she and Jay used protection, but it failed. After that one encounter, she never saw him again and had no way to contact him. Sadly, by 2010, Wanda's health took a sharp turn, and that's when Dr. Lily Coley was granted legal custody of Ramir. Lily later spoke to The Sun, revealing something shocking. Wanda allegedly got pregnant not long after meeting Jay-Z, when she was just 15 or 16 years old. But it gets even wilder. In a 2018 lawsuit filed in Philadelphia, Ramir dropped a major bombshell. He claimed Jay-Z's attorney made Wanda sign legal documents while she was still in the hospital recovering from a medicated coma. The papers replaced Lily's name on the official petition without her consent, and for reasons that Ramir's side said were completely shady. That legal stunt got the entire case tossed out of court, and Ramir's family was devastated. They said they'd never seen such blatant corruption or felt so helpless against a system that clearly wasn't built for them. But then things took an even darker turn. When Ramir and Dr. Coley appeared on Hip Hop News Uncensored, they dropped a chilling revelation. Ramir was shot after filing his lawsuit against Jay-Z. Let that sink in. And just when you think it couldn't get worse, Dr. Coley said strangers started showing up at her house trying to intimidate her into silence. Random people, random times. All around the same period the lawsuit was filed, it wasn't just legal pressure, it felt personal. But Lily made one thing clear. This case isn't just about Jay-Z. It's about standing up for change and pushing for new laws so the rich and powerful can't keep bending the legal system to silence regular people. The deeper you dig, the more twisted it gets. Hit that subscribe button, because this story is far from over. While the spotlight's been on Jay-Z, Ramir's turning up the pressure somewhere else entirely, this time by going straight after the system itself. Ramir has now filed a new lawsuit, but it's not just about Jay anymore. It targets the New Jersey court system and 6 different judges.
Looking good for Jay.
Working with Jay-Z to sabotage his case for over a decade. According to Rymir and Dr. Coley, Jay-Z flat out lied under oath by claiming he didn't own any property in New Jersey. That move made it look like the court had no jurisdiction over him, which helped his legal team dodge accountability. But guess what? Rymir's team came with receipts, property deeds, and tax records with Jay-Z's name on them. Clear proof that Jay did in fact own property there. That lie? It wasn't small. It allegedly helped shut down Rymir's earlier cases, making sure they never got a fair hearing. Even worse, the lawsuit claims those 6 judges kept pretending Jay had no ties to New Jersey, despite all the evidence showing otherwise. Rymir's team says this wasn't just a mistake, it was a coordinated effort to silence him. But the legal fight isn't the only danger Rymir's facing. The lawsuit also reveals that once Rymir started speaking publicly about the court's shady behavior, his car was shot at by unknown individuals. And it didn't stop there. Strange people started tailing him and Dr. Coley, following them around the neighborhood and even driving onto their lawn at 4 a.m. Just imagine that. According to them, this wasn't random. They firmly believe these threats were orchestrated by Jay-Z's camp to scare them into backing down. Now, Rymir and Dr. Coley are suing the court system itself, accusing it of violating their constitutional rights and protecting the rich instead of the truth. This is no longer just about paternity, this is about power, intimidation, and justice being buried. Subscribe now, because this fight is about to shake the system. And just when you thought it couldn't go any deeper, there's even more coming to light. Behind the scenes, Rymir and Dr. Coley are said to be preparing explosive evidence that could finally force the court system to take a serious look at the case. We're talking new witness statements, paper trails, and even alleged cover-up attempts involving high-level legal officials. Insiders say there's documentation proving that court clerks lost or misfiled key documents connected to Rymir's case, documents that could have moved things forward years ago. Instead, everything kept mysteriously vanishing or getting delayed, making sure nothing ever reached a full hearing. Meanwhile, Rymir has been hitting the media circuit harder than ever.